Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby, the last in the international rugby window. Of course, we've got Wales versus South Africa next week, but this game, highly anticipated. England taking on the Argentines. This game could be absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully, anyway, it is going to be that way. Looking through at the starting lineups. First of all, for the English, they have got Alice Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie, and also Opoku Forgio as the front row. Now, I have to say, Luke Cowan-Dickie, he has been one of those players a little bit underrated for what he's been able to do throughout this year. Him and Jamie George have worked well together. This game, they've got Theo Dan making his way off of the bench, but Alice Genge up the front, little bit of physicality there. Go head-to-head with the Pumas front row. But in the locking jaw, it is Maro Itoje alongside Alex Coles. So Itoje, he will be wanting a massive matchup here up against Los Pumas. Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill, and Ben Earl. They will be the loose forward trio. Ben Spencer and George Ford make up the 9 and 10 combination. So a little bit of a change compared to what we did see in last week's game. From there, Elliot Daly out on the left wing. In the midfield, it is Max Ojamore as the number 12 alongside Henry Slade at number 13. Emmanuel Fiuwa-Boso out on the right wing and Freddie Stewart at number 15. Now, George Ford and Freddie Stewart, they did extremely well up against the All Blacks. That was the combination that kind of picked apart the ABs under the high ball. And that's the thing, the English at the moment, they are on a massive winning streak. They want to continue that all throughout till 2026 when the Six Nations does start up, only around 75 days away. So I'd love nothing more than to keep that momentum flowing heading into that competition. In the front row for the Argentines, it is Thomas Garchot, Julio Montoya, and also Pedro Delgado. In the locking jaw, Guido Petti alongside Pedro Rubiolo. So Rubiolo has been one of the standouts for the Argentines throughout 2025. He's been consistently taking part alongside, at times, Franco Molina. We've seen Marcos Crema in there. In this case, though, Guido Petti, he will take on the number 4 jersey. Juan Martin Gonzalez, he plays 6. Marcos Crema at 7. And Santiago Grondona as the number 8. They have got Marcos Maneta. Oh, sorry, not Marcos Maneta. They have got Pablo Matera making his way off of the bench alongside Joaquin Oviedo. And there as well, Simon Benitez Cruz alongside Matthias. Or they've got Matthias Alimano on the lineup that I was looking at off to the side. But in the number 10 jersey, it is actually Prisiantelli taking part as fly half. Batista Delgui out on that left wing. Also in that midfield, it is going to be Picardo alongside Matthias Maroni. So no Santiago Chucabarez in this contest. Rodrigo Isgro and Juan Cruz Malia. He will close out the starting lineup for the Pumas. But looking through at the chat, there is plenty of it already. In the comments, we have got the Pom squad versus a Puma squad, says Ruby there. And also, we did well in the summer, but we could be in a bit of trouble today. Come on, England, says Freddie. Well, that's the thing. England at the moment, like I mentioned, they are on a big winning streak. They have done extremely well. That win up against the All Blacks, that was exactly the game that England were targeting for their November internationals. But this game can be a little bit of a underestimated one. You know, the importance of being able to finish the year on an absolute high. This Pumas side, they showed up against Scotland when they were able to get themselves that massive comeback victory, that when they get that little bit of momentum going and they start believing, they can beat the top sides around the world. So they will definitely want to start this match better than they did start up against Scotland. And if they can do that, they've got some great players to make their way off the bench a little bit later on. But England's bench up against the All Blacks, it was clinical as well. So, you know, it just shapes to be a great game. And I really hope it is. Can I ask a question? It says Mohadin, go for it. And is this, or if this is anything like last weekend's game, we're in for a great game, says Freddie. Absolutely. That game between Scotland and Argentina was just entertainment for the full 80 minutes of the contest. The later stages, it looked like it could have gone either way. In the end, the Pumas were able to win it. England 38, Pumas 28. So going with a high-scoring game there for Philip's predictions. When Springboks' first game of 2026, it will be probably in around July. Is when they will be in action. So they've actually got quite a long wait. But first of all, they've got their game next week up against Wales that they will be taking part in. Let's go England, says Purple Dragon Universe. And come on, Argentina, says Salah in there too. England 5-point victory, says Rudolph. And also, hey, greetings from Argentina, says Sebastian in there too. We have got so many people already here. So it is absolutely awesome seeing you all for this matchup. We've had a hectic weekend of rugby already. What we're going to do is pop me off to the side for just one moment, and what we're going to do is show you all the international matches that did take place last weekend. And this was not even all of them. There's actually a few that we haven't got listed in there. But we saw the Rugby World Cup qualification match between Samoa and Belgium. Now, because it was a draw, it meant that it went down to points from the group stage, and Samoa did qualify. They took the last spot, and that Rugby World Cup draw, it is going to be done on the 3rd of December. We will be doing a watch-along for that one, so be sure to stick around for that. Georgia able to get the win over the Canadians. We saw South Africa in the controversial fashion after a Mostert red card get the win over the Italians. USA beat Romania, and then Portugal with a good win over Hong Kong, China. And there as well, England. That was, for me, the biggest victory of the whole weekend. The biggest victory in terms of looking at the scoreline without knowing what had happened. You'd have to argue the second biggest, or the biggest, depending on how you look at it, is the fact that Argentina came from such a massive margin down and got themselves the win over Scotland. So for me, the two best wins of the weekend, and now those two sides who won those games are going head to head. Fiji, they lost to France. Ireland, they had a great win over the Australians. That Wales versus Japan game was a last-minute thriller as well. England A, just getting past the Spanish. And Spain have shown that they're actually quite difficult, because Fiji only just getting past them in this round of the November internationals as well. Looking through at their benches, though, in this contest for England, they have got Theo Dan, Finn Baxter, and also Will Stewart as the front row replacements. Charlie Ewels alongside Tom Curry and Henry Pollock. So once again, that 6-2 split of the POM squad. And then Alex Mitchell and Marcus Smith. Plenty of pace across those two individuals to add to England later on. In the game for Argentina, Ignacio Ruiz, winger, and also Rapiti is there. Franco Molina features off of the bench alongside Pablo Matera and Joaquin Oviedo. Honestly, both of these benches are absolutely stacked. Santiago Herreras in that number 23 jersey, that man was an absolute game changer up against Scotland. The way that he came onto the field and just seemed to up the tempo, created attacking chances, and at the end of the day, won the game for Argentina. Looking through at these lineups, I've just got even more excited about this game than I already was. And the good news is we're only about 15 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest, and then we will know exactly who is going to be able to walk away with the victory out of these two sides. Looking at recent form for the Argentines, they were able to get themselves the win over the Scottish in their last contest, 33 points to 24. The game prior to that, bringing up the half century up against the Welsh, 52 points to 28. Wales have actually done pretty well up against top opposition, though, in terms of that's a very similar scoreline to what we saw up against the All Blacks, where that game was 52 points to 26. And the Welsh still managing to score themselves 4 tries in both of those games. Whereas for England, in their November internationals, they have had the win over the Australians, they beat the Fijians, and they also beat the All Blacks. So 3 more big matches added to what has been a pretty hectic calendar year for the English in terms of the victories that they have been able to pull off. They're on that massive winning streak, like I mentioned, 2 of which were up against the Argentines in July. Now, in those matches, we did see a bit more of an experimental English side, predominantly because of the British and Irish Lions tour. It meant that they were missing their main players. Argentina, a little bit of rotation in their side as well, but both of those games in Argentina won by the English. I feel like that is where this game has a little bit more substantial, rivalry starting to build between these two sides because of the fact that England beat them both in their backyard. So now the opportunity to be able to come into this game at Twickenham Stadium, and Pumas want to return the favour. And in that regard, we've got 30 more messages in the comments there as well. You had over 7,500 viewers with Ireland versus South Africa yesterday. Must be a record. Is it safe to say your biggest fans are South Africans, says Ruby? It is actually, believe it or not a record on the channel. The Rugby Championship, we did have more for All Blacks versus South Africa, but they are our 2 biggest audiences on the channel, so that does make sense. Where's our Cantabrian? Pablo on reserves, 20 dumb, says Nazi. I think they're trying their best to use as much impact late in the game as they can, Argentina here. It's all well and good putting those guys on the field in the early stages, but they have got 3 very handy players in Grondona, Marcos Crema, as well as Juan Martin Gonzalez out there. So you'd argue that having 2 players like Matera and Oviedo as impact players off of the bench is massive for Argentina and just shows that little bit of depth that they're starting to build in their loose forward trio. High shot on Pollock, please, says Lance Morris. I've seen a lot of people wanting Henry Pollock to get, like, shots to the head, which I haven't really understood. Like, I get that people don't like him, but it's always interesting hearing people trying to ask for players to get injured or concussed. It always confuses me. We have got there, come on, Jaguars, and Vamos Pumas, and come on, the Jaguars there as well. England A were poor. Ireland A put 60 plus past the Spanish, says George, voted for Argentina, by the way, says Ano. And anyone predicting a draw? To be fair, a draw wouldn't be a terrible shout for this contest. There is potential of this game going down to the wire if both sides perform from the get-go. And do we have to wait for the last 20 minutes again for Argentina to wake up? Which Argie team will show up today? Well, I also think that England will be at their strongest throughout that last 20 minutes. Which is why this is one of those ones that, like, no matter what happens in the first 60, it's going to be whoever plays better in the last 20 wins the game. Because they both just have such a great ability of finishing contests. Just need to understand the defence wins games as much as offence, says Flesh in there. And also, you better have Andre Pollard. I will stop watching you, says Mohaddin. And we have also got the Los Pumas all the way, says Hano. And also, but won't Pollard, oh no, I guess depending on whether he's been released for the Bulls will depend on whether he's even eligible to play for the Springboks. Will you show the match? We will be doing the play-by-play radio style commentary for the game. Any sort of match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike and banned for 3 months off of YouTube. And we'll use the home crowd to their advantage, says George. Who's your pick to win this game, says Mornay. I'm thinking England. I do think that in this contest, Argentina, don't get me wrong, they have the ability to cause an upset. But it's just, at the moment, England are on a good streak at this point in time. And I think they'll be able to use that. And good luck to from South Africa to Los Pumas. You can do it, says Bongi there. And guys, we're going to watch the game live, says Mohabash. So depending on where you are in the world will depend on what options you have got for being able to watch it. But there aren't a huge amount of free options that won't give you a virus on your phone or your computer. We have got their Los Pumas going to be too strong for England today, says Sunshines. Yes, Sasha Mani is on their way back to South Africa, says Mohaddin. Is Damien Valimza also? Because if Damien Valimza, I guess he'd have to be the backup fly half in that case, because or else then they haven't really got too many other options in that number 10 jersey, unless they're going to chuck someone like a Cheslin Colby or a Grant Williams or someone into that number 10 jersey just for fun. And Pumas to bounce on the Bulldogs. And what are the permutations on playing regarding rankings? That is a very good question. I will let you know in a very short moment. We'll go Rugby World Rankings Calculator. I know that because France beat Australia, both of these sides are guaranteed top 6, no matter what happens in this contest, which is a massive bonus. There was a chance had Australia been able to beat the French by a big margin, we would have actually seen France drop to 7th in the overall rankings. So theoretically, if England were to win this game by more than 16, the English don't really go anywhere. They can get themselves up that little bit more. They'd move up to almost 89 points. If Argentina were to win this game, just in general, England would drop to 4th in the world rankings. Ireland would go up to 3rd. And then if Argentina were able to win this game by a big margin, this is actually substantial. If Argentina win this game by 16 plus, which the chances of that happening are very unlikely, but you never know, that would actually drop England down from 3rd to 6th in the world rankings. Argentina would go up to 4th, but all of the sides would still be in that first grouping of the Rugby World Cup draw. And England are the favourites by 10 points. I would love to see the Argentines get the win, says Ano there. And how long till kickoff? At the moment, we have got 10 minutes until the kickoff of this contest, so very close to the start of this match. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back next week for the match between South Africa and Wales, as well as all the international rugby coming up. If you are a fan of Sevens, the Los Pumas Sevens side are going to be in action next week as well for the Dubai Sevens, where they will be going head-to-head up against the Blitzboks, up against Fiji, New Zealand, all of those sides. And we cover a lot of the Argentine Sevens on the channel as well. Players like Luciano Gonzalez, Marcos Moneta, Germain Schultz. I could honestly list the whole team, but we will not, because I think people, depending on whether you follow Sevens or not, may have no idea who I'm talking about. We have got there, who do you think is, or what do you think is the hardest position in rugby in terms of physicality? depends on the team that you play for a little bit. I always look at props and think that they need to do a lot of that neck work to try and make sure that they don't land awkwardly. Like, there's a reason it is called a specialist position, and that is if you are not a specialist in it, you can actually get seriously injured. A hat-trick for Matera and Carreras. There's Roof. No Mateo Carreras in this game, but they have got Batista Del Gui, so his high ball ability is certainly something that they'll keep an eye on out there on the field. Emmanuel Fiwa Bosso, he is another player who has been quite prominent for England in recent times. And we have got there go the Pumas, make the South Africans proud. Says Martin in there as well. And come on, the RG South Africa are behind you, except Thabiso Mlovu, says Raven. And predicting the man of the match is speculative, but based on current form, team lineups, and expert previews. Maro Itoje, second rower, is the front runner. Says Casper. Yeah, I do think if England win this game, we will see a predominant bit of work from Maro Itoje and that set piece of the English. It's one way that you can try and take Argentina out of the game, get them a few penalties in a row against them at line-out time and start to create a little bit of indecision. And sorry about your wind, says DJ. And how many points do you think England is going to win by? I assume that is from Mornay. I would like to see 7 or less. What is the hardest position to play in rugby in terms of physicality? I think I just answered that one. We have there Toje puts work into all of England's wins, says Big Rig. Yeah, I mean, even that game up against the All Blacks, some were saying that Itoje didn't have the best game, but the man made 22 tackles and also just caused a nuisance out there on the field again. Whatever happens, hope it's exciting. I hope so too. Like, a great finish to this weekend of rugby would be absolutely brilliant. Fingers crossed anyway. And Argentina 35, England 27. South Africa support you, says Martin there, and Gonzalez, says Ruth. So that is Juan Martin Gonzalez in that number 6 jersey. And let's go, boys, says Ruth. And there as well. And true, a yellow card will derail us. And the thing is, I've already predicted 2 yellow cards in this contest. I hope I'm wrong and we have absolutely none throughout this 80 minutes. That would be the best case scenario, where neither sides get carded and we get to see 15 on 15 for the full 80 minutes, because it doesn't happen too often. If you did play rugby, what position would you play? Probably I could only play halfback. But then they have to be one of the fittest players out there on the field, and I have like 0 fitness. So my best position would be water boy. Toje is a good player, but he is not their control, or not in control like real enforcer, Buckius and Etzebeth, says Ruby. However, there, DJ, thank you. We should see what's happening outside, says Philip there, and England are about to find out about Argentina. And also, will Scotland beat South Africa, says Martin, as in next year? Or I assume that's when you're talking about. And what's your view on the status of the All Blacks? I mean, the thing is, 3 losses in a calendar year, it's not actually as bad as people are making it out to be, but I think it's because of the fact that they lost by bigger margins that has annoyed quite a few people. But, like, for me, you know, they've got the wrong captain. I don't know if the coach is the right one yet, but I don't think we've had enough time to determine that. Or they're playing a little bit of Seven Nation Army at Twickenham Stadium as these two sides are set up in the tunnel. How was the cricket game the other day? We lost the semi-final, and then the side that beat us in the semi-final went on to lose the final. But now we play the winners this weekend in the cricket. And go Argentina, South Africa are behind you. Watching you from a hospital bed. Got inflammation of the colon. But doctors thought appendicitis for a bit. Hoping for an England win to lift my spirits. Well, hopefully you do recover very quickly, David. And hopefully you aren't feeling too rough in hospital. I reckon Pollock bats to the other side. Says Jason. Is Tim wearing his Puma pants or Puma's jersey today, Hamish? Says Ruth. I assume you're talking about Tim is in rugby itch, and I assume he would be going for the Pumas in this contest. Halfback is 9, says Martin. That is correct, yes. He looked like a fast bowler. I'm really not, unfortunately. I used to bowl a bit of spin. I can bowl both, but I don't actually get to bowl on a Saturday. I've been told very specifically that I'm only considered as ever being a net bowler for the team. So, it's a bit rough, but I don't bowl terribly when I put in a bit of effort. And how many games did the Springboks lose? Only team to lose 2 games. Yeah, so they lost 2 this year. I think they'd have to be close to the only side, other than England. I think England have only lost 1 game this year, I believe, that I can think of, and that was up against France. up against Ireland in the Six Nations. That's the only loss that England have had of their calendar year. And vamos Pumas, says Emiliano. Now we're just about to have the national anthems and then we will be underway for this contest. Just need to take some wickets next time. You're up to show them. Says Big Rick, every time that I have bowled in a match, I've taken at least one wicket. But I haven't bowled this year. Are you a spinner or slow medium? Says Nars Williams. Depends on the day. I can bowl leg spin, can bowl off spin, and can vary in pace. Probably only medium pace though, I'd say. I'm definitely not quick. In a cricket team, I'm the beer dispenser, says Sash there. And I was aiming should Ireland win yesterday. I left your broadcast early. They did not win. No, they actually put in a valiant effort out there on the field. Ibrahim has said, what a joke. Is that to me or my bowling or to the scoreline or the fact that England have only lost one game this year? And let's go to Pumas, says Steve. But the national anthem's just about to take place. And this match is soon to start. Pumas by 5, says Marion there. And also we have got there England 38, Argentina 39. Tell you what, if that is the scoreline, that would be incredible for this matchup. And I'm like I said, less than 7 is what I'm hoping for. What's up, mate? Says Kean, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. But let me know who you guys think will be the first try scorer in this contest out of all these players out there on the park. I think that Henry Slade is due to score. Been a little while since we've seen that man cross the try line. And also because of the fact that normally Ollie Lawrence has got that number 13 jersey firmly in control. England making quite a few switches for this game. Bocca's the best team in the world. So here's agreement there. And we have got there, does this show the match when it starts? Sadly not. But it is going to be the play-by-play commentary all throughout the game. We're going to be letting you know exactly where the ball is on the field, who's scoring the tries, everything like that. But due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube, sadly, with a copyright strike. We have there go the Pumas. Only because our Dr. Kiwi Pablo, says Naz Williams there, and 30 points to 17 in favour of the English, says Salah. And there as well, but the Argentine national anthem being sung. It looks like a few Argentines are in the stands for this match at Twickenham Stadium. It is the last game that both of these sides will be in action for in 2025, so they'd love to be able to end it on a high. But it's going to take a monumental effort. Whoever wins this game, I want to say right now, would have thoroughly deserved it because they are two great sides. They are two teams that will go out there with physicality, with a very dangerous backline on both sides too. And I wonder whether or not we're going to see as much of the kicking from England in this contest because they have got George Ford in that number 10 jersey. They have got Freddie Stewart at number 15. But Argentina has some very capable players under the high ball, more so than what we saw from the All Blacks in the game last week. The God Save the King is now being sung. And if England win, there'll be a record number of wins in a row for them. Will it? I think their record's 17 wins, isn't it, for the English, or 18? This will be about a 10-match winning streak. I assume for a calendar year, are you saying? Maybe? I don't know. And where's Anthem England, best Italian? And we have there, the man is back. Says Yanni in there, and Los Pumas represent the Southern Hemisphere as the best team behind the Springboks. Says James. I think Kerr was on the chat in the previous match, and nowhere in this chat. Says Monet. Well, to be fair, he is Scottish, so that makes sense, seeing as he was on a Scottish stream at 11 in a row for England if we win this. And we have got there, England have some of the best music in history, and we chose this garbage as our anthem, says Big Rick, and Welsh have the best anthem, says Salah there. The two sides are ready to go for this contest. England should run everything. Slade and Ojamo might dent the Pumas defense, says Sash. Well, that's the thing. They had Ollie Lawrence, who was carving up the Kiwis, and then you make switches in this game, and it's still just as dangerous for the English. How much will Argentina cry during the anthem, says Doug? I think there were a few tears out there. You see the passion out there. Henry Pollock starting today. He is not. He is off the bench once again. They love using him as their impact player for the English alongside Tom Curry. That seems to be the duo that they will bring off the bench multiple times over and has been very effective in most of the matches that they use it. Los Pumas for the win. Goodbye winning streak, says Yanni there. And AB's 18, South Africa 17. Says Martin in there as well. But the two lineups, they are just being shown once more. And then we are underway in this contest. I am thoroughly excited for this match as it just seems like the one that maybe people haven't been looking at in terms of their favourite match of the weekend. You know, Ireland, South Africa was talked about as being huge. It didn't really deliver in terms of the entertainment from a neutral perspective. But these two sides, they could certainly bring it. We've had a couple close games. At the moment, match of the weekend's probably still going Georgia versus Japan at this point in time, or Spain versus Fiji. But could this one be match of the weekend when these two sides go head-to-head? Here we go, people. Says Freddie there. And a great way to end the weekend, says Sash. Absolutely. And I think that was proven last weekend too when we saw Scotland versus Argentina at the end of the week. But Marcos Crema, they're showing him there. He's got the cauliflower ears. You know, that man loves getting into a breakdown, causing a disruption. Bench will dictate the outcome, says Jeff. And the thing is, both benches are stacked for this game. Santiago Carreras was the game changer in the last contest for Argentina up against Scotland, whereas up against New Zealand, it was the English POM squad that ran New Zealand off their feet in the later stages of the game. Have you seen Italy versus Chile? I did. I actually covered the last 10 minutes of that game on the channel. But Argentina kicking this one off long. Presiantelli getting us underway, and we are ready to go for England versus the Argentines. I'm going to say it, not at Allianz Stadium. It is Allianz, but at Twickenham Stadium. There's about 7 Allianz stadiums around the world. I feel like Twickenham is unique, and it's certainly great location to play, but it's kicked downfield off the left boot of Ben Spencer going into touch. Now chance early on for Julio Montoya and his side to get a line out going in the early stages of the fixture apart from Pride. And where would be any points change in position, says Philip. So if Argentina win this game, they drop England into 4th and Ireland go up to 3rd. If Argentina win this game by 16 points, they drop England to 6th and they boost themselves up to 4th in the world rankings. Alongside that, if England were able to win, it does nothing for them, other than get that little bit of extra boost and, of course, increase that winning streak, which is absolutely exactly what they would want to do. Even if this game is a draw, I just want to have a quick look. England still just remain as that number 3 side if this game is drawn. Attack and run from Emmanuel Boso, 30 metres out from the line at the moment. England, after Argentina returned with a kick of their own. Now let's go the RGC's Raven there. And good tackle, says Sush. And there as well. And told to use it by the French referee, Pierre Brosset. And go the Pumas, says Martin. Now lining this one up under the high ball. Presiantelli takes it well. Big collision with him. Back across to the right-hand side. Delgado almost sits down Maro Atoje, who the bookies backing. England are considered as the favourite for this contest. Argentina are about $4 underdogs. I thought Kerr came from England. Never thought Kerr came from Scotland. No, he is very Scottish. That's going to be a high ball. Freddie Stewart takes it well for England. Back in position for the home side. Spencer goes across to Ben Earl. That was accidental offside almost from a Poco Fojo in that number 3 jersey. And George Ford kicking it high again. The aerial assault coming early from both of these sides. But Juan Cruz Malia knocks it back onto the side of the Argentines. And Rodrigo Isgro able to claim it for Los Pumas. Marcos Crema tries to step already. We hear the crowd singing. It's like they were last week. Kicked him behind from Presiantelli. Gets it down into the English 22. And the mark called by George Ford. Little bit of a territory battle early on in this matchup. Did you get a quick snack in between Tonga game and this one? I got no snack whatsoever. I pretty much set up this stream, got ready to go, and then click live. And we were already here. The song sucks, hey, says Sarge. I feel like any song sounds good, though, when you have a stadium singing it. Like, they could sing Happy Birthday round the stands, and it would sound absolutely phenomenal with the kind of, what is it called? The echo, I was going to say the aromatics, but that's not the word for it. What's it called when it bounces off something and comes back? Early pressure, Los Pumas, says Ruby. England are going down today, tears at Twickus, says Sunshines. Now ready to put this ball in. Argentina again at line-out time. Around that halfway line. England invent the game, South Africa perfect it, says Martin. Now Julio Montoya. Puts it in. Oh, wasn't straight though from the Pumas. It means that England will have themselves the first scrum of the day. And Hamish will have to have egg bacon sandwiches. How many players will not be able to play for the Springboks against Wales? I think there's a list of about 15 to 20. Reverberation, that's the one. But yeah, sounds great. I just don't like swing low, says Sash. And I got a good lamb mandras in between games. It's called acoustics. That's another word for it that I was thinking of. And got the Pumas says Martin there as well. Pack weights, 902 kgs for Argentina. Actually, a little bit of a lighter pack here for the Argentines. 884 kgs, although that will not make much of a difference when they've got themselves the scrum feed. They normally can have that little bit of a impact anyway. A Ricochet says sun shines. Asher, Apoku, Fajor in that front row. I used to say Welsh rugby is how a god would have it played. Says DJ and Puma's on a diet. Says Big Rig. And the one looks so sad. Hey, poor Gasho. Says Sash. Now colliding there. It's scrum time. Holding strong. For now, penalty goes the way of Argentina. And that is going to be for driving around. So actually the penalty going against, I believe it would have been Ellis Genge for wheeling in on the angle. Can you speak Afrikaans? I cannot. Only a few words. And South Africa reinvented the game. There's Casper, and also we have got there we need to. See what the Bok team, or what Bok team you will pick for Wales test with all the unavailable players. Yeah, so hopefully that will come out tomorrow, I would say. Now, I will mention Wales, I think, are going to be missing quite a few of their players for that game too, so it could be quite an interesting two lineups that get announced. And great work. Genge is a baby. Says Sash. Now, line out throw here for Argentina and Julio Montoya. This one only going to be 5 meters out from the English line. This is where, if Argentina want to have their best chance in this game, scoring early, the perfect opportunity. Oh, that's it. Oh, it's called as not straight. It was an early collision in the air as well, but I believe... So the throw was not straight, which does cancel out the fact that England came in and chopped underneath them. That was nowhere near straight. So I think they're saying that is the reason that England closed the gap, was because they were trying their best to absolutely get out there. Are you right, Hamish? The reverb says DJ. Any players you really don't like, Hamish? Not really. I think that the ones that I don't normally like are the ones that do go for those cheap shots every once in a while. But outside of that, any player, I know that people don't like Henry Pollock because he's quite confident and has a bit of an ego about him. People don't like Sasha for the exact same reason. But, it's something a little bit different. And I feel like if every single rugby player was the same, it's the same reason people didn't like Joe Marler. Because he had a bit of a personality about him and they didn't really enjoy that in the world of rugby. But now, once he's retired, I think most people kind of like him now. And what about the French player who bit the Irish girl? I don't like her. Says Big Rigger. Montoya needs to nail his jumper. And Pollock is arrogant. Says Sunshines. So are quite a few of these boys. At the end of the day, arrogance can sometimes be what gets these guys to the level that they play at, because they literally back themselves and they believe they are the best in the world. There are many players who have fallen into that arrogant category before, and some of them are the world's best. And Pollock is a great player. Pollock is superb, says Rick. And also, but Marnie is better than both Sasha and Pollard, says Agreement. Pollock, he's just confident. Have to be at that level, says Yanni. Oh, breaking the line, Sam Underhill here for the English. That was a weird tackle attempt from Juan Martin Gonzalez. Initially went for a push, which didn't work, so then he had to wrap him around the bootlaces and take him down. Now, big collision in the middle of the field for Ojimo. Now, Ellis Genge. Across to the right-hand side. Luke Cowan, Dickey, skip past to Emmanuel Fiwa Bosso. Big fen there. Sits down Batista Delgui, making a statement up against the returning Argentine winger. Now Ford, back across to Mato Atoje. Can't quite get his offload away. Our left-hand side, numbers for the English. Moving it out wide. Awkward bouncing ball taken by Ben Earl. But it shut down the momentum of the play after the pass did end up bouncing into the hands. Ellis Genge. Back across again. Player trying to roll away on that breakdown for Marcos Crema. I know the difference between confidence and arrogance. Pollock is arrogant, says Sunshines in there as well. So are you saying his arrogance is a bad thing, or are you saying that it's actually a good thing for him? All pocket. Here they go. Drop kick attempt for George Ford. And he gets it over just like they did up against the All Blacks. Managed to get the extra 3. And also Owen Farrell, don't like him. Great player, but a big jerk and does dangerous tackles, says Big Rig. And we have the off topic. Is it possible to have an injury-free rugby career? It's pretty rare. I'd say that we haven't seen too many guys throughout their careers be able to avoid any sort of injury. There'll be guys who never admitted to having an injury while they were playing. You're right, Amish, Ford got the first points. There's Sash there. And Sasha Feinberg Mazulu is the next GOAT in 2 years. Now, is he arrogant because he's young and English, or just knows he's actually okay at rugby and young fans like him? Arrogance is never good. Be confident all day long, says Sunshines. And that's an unwritten rule in pro sports that you have to pretend you're humble all the time. Pollock is just being honest, which I respect, says Math Man. Yeah, and you kind of see it. Sometimes players do get watered down, don't they? Because, like, most guys, once again, not Henry Pollock in particular, but some players of the past have had a personality and they've pretty much been watered. That's going to be a great try here for England. We're going to have to come back to that in the near future, but that is going to be the try for Max Ojamo, breaking away. England able to score it, and that drop kick set up the try-scoring opportunity for the English. But that is a big moment for this young man. Manages to score in his second international cap. They may just check it here, but it's kicked high. Ben Spencer initially, then going up. Did it hit the hand of Emmanuel Fiwa-Boso? If it didn't, it's going to be play on, and it will be the try. What matters is performance, whether you like him or not is separate, says Yanni there. And come on the Pumas, says Antoinette. Does Guy Pepper get a hand on that? I think they want to check it, and I think they have. It has been cleared, and the kick goes over from Ford as well. So early on in this match, 10 minutes in, and it is 10 points to 0. Our medicals conducted, though, says Splash TV. They're definitely a lot more strict nowadays. Like, I've talked to a few ex-players, how they used to say you didn't tell anyone about your injuries because then you knew you weren't going to be playing and then you weren't getting paid. So, you know, you kind of just kept it hush and hoped for the best. Hope that it didn't get any worse. We see you in South Africa next year for the All Blacks tour. You will not, but we will be on the channel commentating it. And going to be a good game, guys. Says, cool story. But now, low tackle made for, or the tackle on Max Ojomo, the man who just scored himself the try. Where to watch the game, depending on where you are in the world, will depend on your options. If you're in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport 1. If you're in Australia, it's on Stan Sport. If you're in the UK, I believe it's on Sky Sport. If you're in South Africa, it's on DSTV. Come to Durban, Hamish, says Sush. Bollock, he's a character. Says agreement there. Yeah, we just see Argentina just making a couple mistakes there, not being able to get that high ball. And then from there, just trying to slap it back. And that is when he managed to get that interception. TNT in the UK, says Big Rig. Lineouts lost so far for Argentina. They have lost 2, but that is now their second successful lineout of the contest. Now back into the pocket. Kicked downfield by Presiantelli. In fact, that was Santi Carreras. What's he doing on the field, I wonder? And who has he come on the field for? In this case, right, taken quickly by Argentina, trying to keep this game ticking over. Batista Del Gui goes to Juan Mata Gonzalez, or Juan Cruz Malia, in fact, and they have got themselves the penalty advantage now. Carreras. He's wearing that number 23 jersey for this game. I'm trying to work out who is off. I think it might be Presiantelli, but I could be wrong. And we have got there, Argentina normally only wake up in the second half and watch from Thailand, says David there. And also we have got there, sorry for the gap, says Mohammed and Albanos. Oh, was it Albanos who started? I thought it looked like Albanos, but I just trusted the team lineup. But is he now off Albanos for Carreras? I saw number 10 go off. So why did they start Albanos when he's already been dealing with so many injuries? We have got another donation. Ruth Phillips supporting the Kiwi lads and enjoying you from Johannesburg, says James. And Carreras do it again. Rugby becoming a card game, says Martin. Now it is actually going to be 5 metres out from the English line. I believe it is an Argentine scrum feed. Yes, it is. So a good position on the field to try and get something going here. Create an attacking chance and work their way back into the contest. Which I really hope South Africa doesn't lose game next year. So it's a cool story. I mean, they only lost 2 throughout 2025, or at this point, I'm pretty much guaranteeing them the win over Wales, but you just never know. Game of international rugby, we could see 7 cards to the Springboks in that next matchup. It's just very hard to tell. Hopefully this game we can avoid those cards. The next decision, the ref will go pick a card. Any card says cited. Now ball's going to be fed in. It's available there. Now Juan Cruz Malia, short ball going to Lucio Cinti, who considered the offloading option, decides against it now. Getting closer to the try line this time for Santiago Rondona. Moving to the left, Thomas Gasho drops the ball and it goes forward. Double knock on, and it will be the English line out now. Scoreboard correct. It is indeed 14 minutes in and 10-0 in favour of the English as we currently sit. That was Argentina's best chance to be able to score, but just knocking it on as Thomas Gasho went to gather it. He probably was looking at the try line there before looking at the ball. I seen on the Springboks website that their 14 matches the Springboks is going to play next year. 10 confirmed, 4 to be confirmed. Says Mornay. I think I'd be immune to this, says Sash. And what happened is England took a quick penalty goal and quickly scored a try and a conversion. So they took a drop kick, they got the 3 points, and then pretty much from there went for a kick back. It was kind of a little bit error-ridden from Argentina. They tried to put the ball back into the hands of the guy in the pocket, and then an interception try was scored. Right, England just in a huddle here. Looks like Lucio Cinti is down with a bit of an injury. So I'm giving us a slither of hope next week, mate. Says Fleshin. And basically an intercept. Says Sash. It looks like Cinti. He is going to try and make his way back up to his feet. Continue playing in this contest. The last thing that Argentina want is to have to make their 2 changes this early on in the fixture when it comes to their back replacements. And so they have gone with that 6-2 split, pretty much matching what the English have done. You're doing great, thanks. Says Ruth there. We have got there Marcos in there. Welcome and hope you're doing extremely well. Right, looks like Cinti's still testing out that knee a little bit. I'm surprised Box didn't try a cheeky drop kick when attacking Ireland try line for so long yesterday. I mentioned about it in the review. They didn't want points, or they didn't care about points. They were just trying to make a big statement up against the Irish side, and that is exactly what they were able to do. I'm English, living in Spain with my Argentinian girlfriend. Let's go. Oh, so you got the best of both worlds in that regard. You got both sides covered. Ben Spencer feeding this ball into the English scrum, which is not moving forward. So put back into the pocket to George Borden. It's charged down by Argentina in the in-goal area. Cleaned up by Emmanuel Fioaboso. And it is going to be a 5-metre scrum now in favour of the Pumas. What is the decision here? It is a charge down and then put down by Emmanuel Fioaboso. I'm not actually familiar with the rule of whether or not that becomes a goal line dropout here or whether it is the 5-metre scrum, but the referee has called 5-metre scrum straight away. Match of Argentina start matches at 0-0, says Sash. Oh, okay. The commentators there are saying it should actually be a goal line dropout here. For the way that the law is. And come on, the Pumas, says Sakabola. Either way, it is going to be an Argentine 5-metre scrum. The Box were out to humiliate Ireland yesterday. Says Sunshines. Oh no. Scrum reset here. Both front rows do stand up. English commentator says Big Rick. They are indeed, yes. And come on, Argentina, says Larry. We'll mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We managed to bring up a big milestone over the weekend, and we are still heading towards that 80,000, which I think I was going to say we may be able to hit by the end of the year, but that may be too optimistic. I think we'll hit it by the Six Nations, or somewhere around there, perhaps. I've never gone out with a South African. I'm like Hamish in that respect, says Cool Story. And that's why then says Big Rig. To be fair, I was also questioning it. So if you go back into the pocket, your kick is charged down, and then you place the ball inside of the in-goal area. Is that we need Thuds right here. He knows like every law in rugby. Is that then a 5-metre scrum, or is that a goal line dropout, I wonder? In this case, they went with 5-metre scrum, and it is going to be the penalty going the way of the Argentines. Is it normal to feel weirdness in one of my knees? What have you done to that knee? Is it like from running somewhere, or is it just from sitting awkwardly? Like if I sit on a floor for too long, I can't feel my legs. Now, chance here for the Pumas. 5 metres out from the line, and they are going to go for the aggressive tactic here of taking the quick tap and throwing someone at the line. In this case, it is Picardo. Now, still just out from the goal line. Nicely passed across from Simon Benitez Cruz. 3 metres out now. Herreras, he is waiting for that ball in the pocket. Not so much for a drop kick, but more so to set up something here. 1 metre short, although England have turned it into a held up. They managed to pull him over the goal line, and that will now be a goal line dropout for the English. And Pumas are famous for their aggression, says Big Rig. And also perfectly normal, says Sakabula there. And Mbocki not so good, says at the net. And can you imagine the South African moaning about the decision that has gone against England? And we never hear the end of it, says Akardis. Yeah, although we don't know whether or not it's the right or wrong decision because I don't know that law well enough as of yet. How is it possible that the Boks are so powerful in the scrums, says Sean? I mean, to be straight away honest, they've got some pretty big boys in that forward back, but also very strategic when they decide to push in those scrums. They normally hold off a little bit and then wait and then all of a sudden shove, which normally knocks the opposition away. Oh, now Santiago Herreras kicking it in behind. The one's going to be bouncing and a big shot coming in there on the English number 10, George Ford. Now ball is loose. It's going to be picked up by England. Alice Gens trying to break through the line. Montoya told to get out of it, and he has said to the referee he has tried. And very naive to get held up there. England obviously want you to go over. Yeah, that is a part of their game plan. It's pretty much, if you're that close, just get underneath you, pull you upwards, and then you're stuck. It's a little bit similar to what we saw from the Reds throughout Super Rugby Pacific. That was actually one of their best goal line tactics. Pretty much just get someone underneath the guy and then bring him over with you. And Ford Mustang, says Ruth, and pure English fish tasty too, says Philip, but that is a good clearing kick from Ben Spence. Already 19 minutes through in this contest. You're going to see it, that little chip from Santiago Herreras. Quite a few players getting him behind. And then it was George Ford who ended up with possession. Argentina line out, says Jonathan. And there as well. It's thrown in by Julio Montoya. Nicely claimed by Guido Petty. Now Herreras going across to the left-hand side. Finds Grondona's hands. Most teams are too impatient at the line out. Or at the line nowadays, says Jimbo. And yeah, there's something quite cool about watching a stoic defensive backline on their goal line. You know, one of those, or defensive line rather than backline, sorry. Another penalty going the way of Argentina. But yeah, a side that doesn't rush. Because so often you see a side rush up early, get themselves offside, and then from there you're pretty much just waiting for the opposition to score. Whereas a side that are a bit more methodical with it and very strategic. That was great work from Julio Montoya. Got straight over the ball. I think from there, I think there was Alex Coles tried to say that there was an just saw there in the replay. I think Benitez Cruz just slapped a Toje on the back of the head as if like celebrating. You know how they would if they were on the same team? I think he gave him the slap in the back of the head, and you can see it in the slow motion replay. The selectors love George Ford, but he's probably England's 4th best number 10, behind Farrell and the other 2 Smiths. Yeah, see, I'm curious about Marcus Smith at the moment. He still prefers 10, doesn't he? Even though he's been put into 15 a few times. I think he still prefers that 10 jersey more, right? And taking the 3 looks like, yeah, Argentina have decided that 3 points with Santiago Herreras is the better option in the scenario, getting some sort of points on the board. It's backfired, though, as it's hit the post and come back out. So Argentina's still sitting on 0. I feel a stretch in my knee when I was kicking the ball. You know, kicking the ball's dangerous. Definitely if you haven't done it in a while. It can end up causing some real problems. As ours Rugby World popularity, still on the up. Tricky one to judge, I would say, but they've still got time before that next World Cup to get it back up to where they want it to be. But they've got to start promoting it outside of just people who watch rugby. You know, whether they do that through the social media side of things or anything like that. Right, Albanoz is back out there on the field for Santiago Herreras, so he makes his way off. For me, Marcus Smith is England's best number 10, but the management are too conservative, says X-Math. I think Marcus Smith is far better fullback than Stewart. And Marcus Smith is not a 10, says Sash there. Or not a 15, sorry. Now rolling maul here for the English. Argentina going to win. Currently down by the 10, but they are well and truly in this contest. Like we mentioned, their game up against Scotland, they came back from being way behind. Oh, Emmanuel Fiwa-Boso, was he blocked there? Yes, he was. And the penalty goes the way of the English. South Africa likes rugby. The older you get, the more you need to stretch before and after doing physical activities. An England B team on the pitch. Says Jeff A. Now Henry Slade. He's got that left boot. Super Rugby, or social media was super effective. Getting people to watch the Women's Rugby World Cup, says Big Rig Joe. Why isn't Curry starting? I think they really like him off the bench alongside Henry Pollock. It's exactly what they did in the game up against the All Blacks. They haven't got Chandler Cutting himself for this game, though, in that number 19 jersey. Instead, it is going to be Yules, who will be joining them. Nicely taken at the front. Luke Cowan-Dickey, bit of a juggle there from Ben Spencer, but still managed to hang on to possession. So Jomo, the one-try scorer in this contest. We have there, Hamish, you need to upgrade your internet. Since yesterday, your channels sometimes hang or a refresh circle occurs. Says Andre, are you sure it's my internet in that scenario then? Because we haven't heard many people saying about that, if that is the case. And we have good there, when did England not have a B team on the pitch? Says Sunshine's now in the hands of Emmanuel Fiwa-Boso. And come on, Slade, says Richard there. Now Ben Spencer. Left again, Maroa Toge. Oh, he sold the dummy and got smashed. And the challenge not on my side, says Ruby. And no 10s look like they are becoming Farrell-like, says DJ. Is that a good thing, though? Because I feel like that current English side, the way that they've been playing their games, don't get me wrong, there's a bit of kicking in there. But at the same time, I think they're finding new ways of evolving their game in just recent times. We have got there, your internet is chilled, Hamish, says Sash. And I've never seen you buffer, says Katzenell there as well. Marcos Crema. And a bit of a mistake there, and Curry is still recovering from a wrist surgery. They're managing his minutes on the pitch, says Rich, which makes you wonder why they would still risk him in that scenario when he is just recovering. But I think he's still a good enough player that even when he gives you 20 minutes at the end of the game, can make a massive difference for this English side. There's actually a huge test for Los Pumas, says Sash. It's a massive game. And, you know, the match that everyone was talking about for this weekend was Ireland versus South Africa. But this game here is going to be very telling for these two sides. They've already played twice throughout 2025. And they also played twice in the Rugby World Cup in 2023. In that game of the World Cup, we did see England just slowly dismantle the Pumas in that group stage fixture, taking a few drop kicks and whatnot. They got quite a few threes throughout that contest, but George Ford now with a penalty advantage in his favour, looking like a cross kick coming for the English. Emmanuel Fiwa-Boso, plenty of pace, gets across and he will score the try for England. The man has got so much pace, but the try assist for Max Ojomo, so he is having a phenomenal game in that number 12 jersey. Too good, says Sash there. I got the new channel member as well. Andrea, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Argentina are struggling, aren't they? They just haven't found their rhythm as of yet in this contest, and a few too many penalties going against the Pumas at this point in time, which is allowing England to be able to control this match. And from there, when they control possession, they normally control the points as well, but that is a good cross kick. Saw the opportunity to go across field, and then Emmanuel Fiwa-Boso, they weren't going to catch him with the amount of open space that he had to be able to run into. And great try, England, says Sakabula there. And what a kick pass. And also we're going to hear some swing low pretty soon. And welcome Andrea. And the Box played a bad. Was struggling to beat a 12-man game. Or it says Miami there. A few incidents. Los Pumas has to take control. They wasted. Says Sash, 5 metres out from the line. The drop ball from Thomas Gauchot. The penalty, going for the 3 points and then hitting the post and not being able to retain the ball after. That also hurt them. It was going to spoil my weekend. I had a pipe dream, it seems, says Ruby. But yeah, England have certainly started this match with a hiss and a roar. But the thing is, and we have to mention it, we all know what happened last week between Scotland and Argentina. Now, the argument you can make straight away is England are not Scotland. But Pumas, if they can somehow get a big moment here, maybe a yellow card to England, it could make the difference. We have got there Ramos, says Roof there, and Sharks Pumas come on. But 2 starts as bar fly half this season for Max, so he has shown that he has got that kind of vision and ability. Now, Julio Montoya, ready to throw this ball in. I will also mention, ladies and gents, I believe we are going to have a special guest on at half-time on this contest. Some of you guys will know him if you are an English rugby follower. That's the only hint you're going to get at this point in time, mainly because I can't think of too many other hints that I would go with. But now, this one's going to be kicked up high towards the sideline. That goes out on the full for Argentina. You know how we just mentioned about the mistakes? That's another one for the Pumas. And England aren't afraid to play non-English. Same goes for Ireland and Scotland. To be fair, all welcome here, always, says Sunshine. And perhaps it is a pity England and South Africa have not played in the series. Perhaps they are the 2 best sides in the world at the moment. I would say that they, at the moment, for me, are the 2 that look the best for that 2027 Rugby World Cup. And that normally is a statement that gets me in trouble. But I feel that way at the moment. England are building really nicely towards that World Cup, as well as the South Africans, of course, with a squad of about 50 at the moment, at least for Rassi to be able to pick from. It is going to be a tough decision to work out exactly who he's going to be going with, but yeah, we'll see what happens. And Puma's getting bumped. Says Jeff A. Yeah, they're certainly going to need the next points in this contest. If they are unable to do so, that is where it does get a little bit more challenging. A big comeback from Argentina, says Sunshine's there. Oh, collision in the air between Emmanuel Fewa-Bosso and Batista Delgui. The man looked like they came off better from that one, although both men back up to their feet now. Okay, I actually don't think Emmanuel Fewa-Bosso went up for that ball at all there. That actually looked more like he was just literally trying to hit Batista Delgui. That could have been a penalty in favour of the Pumas, but instead they have got the line-out throw anyway, and we'll kick this one down the middle of the field with Thomas Albanoz. Big comeback from Argentina, says Sunshine's there. Emmanuel Fewa-Bosso, another run from him. Gets collided around the chest and maybe even the neck. Oh, we don't have another donut game. Yeah, this game I was hoping for within 7 for both of these sides. Just came any cards? No cards as of yet. 29 minutes through this contest. I'm hoping that that is the way that it's going to stay as well in terms of the lack of cards going up for that ball. Was Juan Cruz Malia. He's knocked it backwards, says the referee. What we're going to do is we're going to get some stats up as well for that halftime break, but the ball is in the hands of Los Pumas. George Ford kicking well today, thanks, says Jonathan. Now booted downfield again from Argentina. That is a good take from Freddie Stewart, who does call the mark. Was slipping and sliding a little bit inside of his own 22, and he's hurt himself here. Freddie Stewart, I'm not sure. George Ford was just going like that towards the sideline. Has Freddie Stewart done something to himself here? Maybe. 15's been told to go now, though, so obviously he kicks that one downfield. I think he's all right, although it looked like there was a slight bit of concern for George Ford for half a moment there. George Ford, as good most times. Why don't my emojis work, says Philip? As in, like, your channel emojis? They should be coming through, Philip, I'd assume. Are you on PC or on phone? Now, around the halfway line here, Picardo. Across to the left-hand side now for the Pumas. They do need to score before halftime if they want a very good chance of being able to get back into this contest. Big driving tackle on Batista Delgui. Losing a few metres along the way. On phone, says Philip. So normally they do have them there down the bottom as options. So I'm not too sure why they wouldn't be working for you, Philip. And I jinxed it, figures. No more comments. Says Jonathan there. Now going up for it. Knocked back by Batista Delgui. Goes into the hands of Delgado. I don't think that man would have been expecting the interception opportunity for the Pumas. Now chopping tackle on Thomas Cachot. Didn't look like a lot of arms involved in that one from Guy Pepper. Fin there from Juan Cruz Malia. Now gets it up to Thomas Albanoz. Back across to Lucio Cinti. He steps through a gap. Pumas trying to link up on the outside. Looking for the pass. Grubbing forward. Chasing after this one. Freddie Stewart has to dive on it. But Argentina, we're all but there with Grondona trying to win that foot race. Would you rather have Tommy Freeman or Daly as fullback? Ooh, see, Daly's... I'd take British and Irish Lions Daly, because he was in some brilliant form, I believe, up until... Didn't he get injured in that British and Irish Lions tour? unfortunately. And before then, he was actually playing some brilliant rugby. Oh, it's hit the face of George Ford rather than the hand or anything, so it is not a deliberate knockdown or anything along those lines. But yeah, Tommy Freeman's also in some incredible form at the moment, but I like Freeman out on the wing. I think that he's been going, oh, meant Furback. Okay, that makes more sense then. Oh, I'd still... It depends on whether or not you're going long-term or short-term. I feel like short-term Daly's not a bad option, but like Furbank's probably a more long-term, like more than just this year. And stopped it with his face, says sighted, an awesome line break. And at it again. But yeah, just a little pop pass up there and some huge hits coming in from the English, that is for sure. Out there on the field, but what I'm quickly going to do is I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like that. And like that as well. Hopefully with a little bit of luck, that might work. There we go. Argentina getting smashed. Says also, yeah, it hasn't quite been the start that the Pumas would have liked in this fixture. Juan Cruz Malia firing across to the right-hand side into the hands of Grondona. So they're currently 42 metres out from the line for the Argentines. Thought about the pass on the outside for Julio Montoya. And Pumas better start running, says Ruth. Yeah, if they want any chance of winning, like I mentioned, they have to score before halftime. That is going to be the knock-on from Rodrigo Isgro. Just the pass a little bit too high above him. And this has got to be a little bit of a frustrating one at the moment for Argentina. They have had their chances, but just haven't quite been able to gel as a side. They have made quite a few changes, and I actually do think straight away when you look through at this Argentine side, for me, the part of it that isn't quite working, you'd have to argue, is losing Santiago Chukwuemeka. Oh, that was the wrong button. There we go. And Daly broke his arm. Just came back from it. Freeman's injured shoulder. Played Arundel. Says Richard there. Issue with Stewart. Great under the high ball. A link-up play not so great, says ANFG. And England have a nice cushion. Says Ruth, yeah, 17 points pretty handy in this type of situation. If they can get another try before halftime, that would almost put the icing on the cake, although not quite, of course, because we saw the Pumas last week. Argentina usually poor this time of year. They fade like the Aussies, says Jimbo. But yeah, not having Chukwuemeka out there has made a big difference, I feel, in terms of the kind of chemistry of that midfield. Although, a turnover there. That might have been Picardo, was it? Oh, and a little bit of push and shove just about to take place between the two sides as well. It is looking good. England has a lot of players missing, as well as a few youngsters coming through. Yeah, so it's always great when you can test out a few. I mean, perfect example is this man in the number 12 jersey, Max Ajomo, managed to score himself the try in the early stages, an assist off a cross kick not too long after that. Like, he is just one of those players that when you finally give him a chance, he looks like he's going to be handy. Now, he was the player who ended up getting collided with in that breakdown with Simon Benitez-Cruz, who managed to get that still. England has improved a lot in Borthwick. We'll have a major headache in the Six Nations to select as 23. Yeah, although I think it's a good headache to have. To have more players than like having a few positions that you don't know what you're going to do with. I will mention again, Argentina have decided to go for the points here. This kick from Thomas Albanoz has gone over. So that'll make the score now 17 points to 3. Still in favour of the English, but that is now Argentina on the board for the first time in this match. That's a big bonus for them. Most of what I say on this channel is true. So here's a cool story. And also we have got their last match of the Pumas season. And come on, England, get another try before halftime. In England, they have got their match taking place, I believe, in the Six Nations up against the Welsh. Oh, I keep on putting up that message. That is for halftime when I am prepared for it. And Pumas on the board eventually. Says cited. But yeah, the first match of the Six Nations for the English, I believe, is in 75 days, and that is up against Wales. And Pumas get a try, please, says Martin. Yeah, 3 points is a great start, but it's not going to be enough. They will need some tries here. The later stages of the fixture, that one's gone high from Benitez-Cruz. Elliot Daly didn't look very safe under that high ball. He was retreating backwards rather than running onto it. Now, Albanoz of his left boot, kicking down towards the sideline, well handled at the back for George Ford. Oh, did he hurt himself there, George Ford? That looked like he kind of crumpled over afterwards. He looks like he's all right now, though, and he has to be because he's just had to run about 30 or 40 metres across the field to be able to cover for that one, but now kicks this one into touch. Or does he just Great kick from George Ford down by the halfway line. And Pumas get a try, please, says Martin there. And let's go Pumas. Vamos, says Ruth, and no donuts for the Pumas. Says Big Rig, if England lose, will they go down in the world rankings? Yes. So if England lose this game, they will go down to 4th. Ireland will make their way up to 3rd in the world rankings. If England were to somehow lose this game by 16 points, which at this stage doesn't seem very likely with the amount of time remaining in the fixture, they would drop to 6th in the world rankings and Argentina would go to 4th. So quite a bit of movement can actually take place, but more than likely, the only moving we will see is if they were to lose this game, they go down to 4th. Ireland would take 3rd, and then that would be where those two sides sit at the time of the Six Nations, at the time of the Rugby World Cup draw, as well as the Six Nations. Where is New Zealand in the ranking at the moment? New Zealand are still number 2 in the overall world rankings. Now, nicely taken by Maru Itoje. A little bit of wrestling going on between Guido Petty and Alex Coles. It seems like Petty's just putting in a little bit of afters here on the ground, just trying to assert a bit of dominance. And Elon Musk is using even its best profile to create a 50-man AI team of robotic rugby players. But who will they play? Because surely, guys aren't going to say, yes, we want to play a team of robots. That's going to be another penalty. This time in favour of the English, Elliot Daly. I think was the player who helped get into the breakdown there. Win the turnover, a good aerial challenge from Daly. He is so much more effective going forward rather than back. And in fact, it was that low tackle that he made, then slid out of the way. And he knew straight away that that was going to be their penalty. Pumas will start with physical appearance and mind games soon. That's how they play. And England have actually opted to go for the 3 points here. Looking like North 4, South 2 victory. Come on, Jed, says Wolf Song. And New Zealand protected their spot by beating Ireland, says Jimbo. And yeah, had they lost to England by 2 more points, could have been a whole different story because I think they would have got a little bit more of a downwards push in the overall world rankings. Honest Hamish's used cars. I buy a car from you. That's quite the mouthful. I wouldn't buy a car from me. I have no idea about cars. So you probably get an absolute dud, and I'd think it's the greatest thing ever. And 23, it's a healthy score, says Jeff. And it does hurt the Pumas that little bit. The fact that they did all the hard work of finally getting the 3 points, just to then have England take 3 points themselves. Now, George Ford, of course, still has to get this kick over, and he hasn't. Well, that doesn't happen too often. George Ford normally is a shoo-in to get those type of kicks over, so the score will remain as 17 points to 3 between these two sides. They can be number 1 and still lose matches, says Hurrad there. And also, you look very angry, Hamish, says Mohadeen. Do I? And we have got there, they will play the Springboks. They are already robots. Says James, this one kick downfield from England again. Argentina claim it just outside of their 22. Juan Cruz Malia tries to step. That looked a little bit high. He was slipping down, says Bruce, so it will be play on. The only rugby robot I will buy is a Peter Stefter toy robot. Now 40 seconds remaining in this first half that has flown by. At this point in time, we've had 44 minutes since the kickoff. And this game is all but at its halftime break. Who is the top 5 in the rankings? So at the moment, it's South Africa, New Zealand, England, Ireland, and then it is France. All right, that is going to be offside against the English, I want to say. I think that was against George Ford. In the end, yes, he's very angry, says Red Pie. And what is the time in New Zealand, Hamish? At the moment, it is 5:54 a.m. here in New Zealand. So a nice early morning start on a Monday. The Springboks are so high on the world rankings, the ABs need a spaceship to catch the box, says Martin. The 15-man AI Springbok robot team will play one opponent worthy. Oh, okay. Never mind. It was the penalty to England for Argentina's offside, and England have decided we don't want 3 points here. We're kicking for the corner, which has brought out a quite loud cheer from the Twickenham crowd. They are more than happy with this attacking intent from the English. Right at the end of the half, they will be 10 metres out. Right, Freddie Stewart is telling Fiiwa Bosso, stand on the wing, right on the touchline. I think we could see another cross kick here, depending on what the Pumas set up with in their defensive line. If you could buy a Peter Setoy robot, get a Malcolm Marks robot free, that's a very good deal, isn't it? Now Luke Cowan-Dickey, ball at the back. Starting to roll this one a little bit closer to the try line here for England. Luke Cowan-Dickie breaks round the side. Marcos Kremer couldn't stop him. And the English, they reap the rewards of going for the risk at the end of the half. And they now will lead 22 points to 3 with the chance of an additional 2 still to come in this contest. And Springboks, says Kate Finn. Now we have got there as well. Boom, says Jeff Hay. That's a big try to get. That is a statement to make right at the end of the half for this for this English side. At rolling maul, it looked like Kremer had Luke Cowan-Dickie covered, but just slipped away from him. And then managed to go over that try line, come on the roses, says Henry there. Now we have got their tails are up. Oh, hang on. He might have dropped that ball. Are they going to check it? Oh, okay. Now they are going to check it because this one may be ruled out as a no try. This is one of England's best matches this year against a respectable club. Right, sounds like they've said it could be short and then rolled it onto the line. For Luke Cowan-Dickie. Oh, what are they going to call that as? What's happened there? I don't have a rugby ball. I've got a cricket ball. It's a bit smaller. What's happened here for Luke Cowan-Dickie? This is a rugby ball. It's not really, but you get what I'm saying. Pretty much what's happened is it's rolled down here and then he's grounded it about there. So he hasn't got control of it in his hands. I just realized you can't see. It's pretty much grounded about there. So he's lost control out of his hand, but the ball, I don't know if it ever leaves contact with his forearm. And nice clean game by the sound of it. Yeah, no tries. No cards as of yet in this contest, which has been absolutely fantastic. See, it definitely slips out of Luke Cowan-Dickie's hands. It's whether or not they consider his forearm as enough control. Right, the grounding is short on the forearm and then he rolls it over the line, they say. So that is going to be no try for Luke Cowan-Dickie. And that is going to be halftime in this contest. 17 points to 3. The way that it sits. Sounds like it should stand to me. Downward pressure past the line. How on earth did Ford miss the penalty? He's lucky he had another opportunity to get some, says George. And Harsh says Big Rig. And they should bring back contesting scrums to put in, says David. And also as an English gent, I'd say that that's not a try since there's loss of control. And also we have got their lifeline for the Pumas. Yeah, that makes the scoreline at halftime much more, I don't want to say catchable, but more respectable at the moment for this Pumas team. Because if they were down by the extra 7 points, it'd be very close to being over. And a rubbish that was a try, says Scott there, and don't you not think the Boks were just relentless, ruthless? Says Chris, you can hear about it all in that preview, the review that I did, where I did go into depth about what I thought the tactics were for the Springboks in that game. So downward pressure not accepted for a try anymore. So what they've said is because it came out of his hand and it was on his forearm, they were saying the initial grounding of the ball was short of the line, and then from there he has rolled it forward onto the line with his forearm. So I think it has been called as the knock on. Once again, we've seen those given, we've seen those not given in the world of rugby. In this case, it was called as no try, he dropped the ball. Yeah, so the fact that it left his hand, I think, was definitely the part of it that they thought, we better have a look at that. And it's game over. I'll go catch it, says Chris there, and poor decision, says George, and Argentina just got the lifeline. Let's go, says Larry. And as the ABs in New Zealand, they will not be yet. They should still be, I would think, in the... you'd at least like to think that they'd still be overseas just for now in Wales. And how are you, champion? Hopefully it's close at least. And England don't get too far ahead. Yeah, at the moment they are ahead by the 14 points. I have to say next try for England may be the end of this fixture for Argentina. They have still got 40 minutes and these two benches. 6-2 splits on both sides. So it's going to be very intriguing to see who gets the better of the later stages of the contest. What we will do is, there we go. Those are the benches in this matchup, ladies and gents. I just want to have a quick look for Argentina. At halftime in that game up against the Scottish, they were down by 14 points. Which is the exact same scenario as they find themselves in here. Now, after 43 minutes, they were actually down by 21 points in that Scottish fixture. They went on to win that game 33 points to 24. So 33 points throughout the last second half that Argentina have played. So that would tell you that later on in this game as well, they might still feel like they've got that little bit of a chance. They've got Franco Molina, Pablo Matera, Joaquin Oviedo, Santiago Guerreras, who was the man of the match in the game up against the Scottish because of what he was able to do off of the bench. And then for England, they have still got some X-Factor players in their mix as well. Marcus Smith, Henry Pollock, Tom Curry's there too, Will Stewart for a bit of extra scrummaging in the later stages of the matchup. So it's still anyone's game in this contest as well. What we have got there, Oviedo and Guido can do work, says Sash. Yeah, still very good players to make their way off the bench for both of these seasons. Oh, come on, it's England. We expect those to go against us, no problem. Do not moan like South Africa, says Akaris. And URC next week. Yep, the URC's coming back. And then alongside that, there is the Sevens also taking place next weekend for the Dubai Sevens. And then alongside that, there's also Wales versus South Africa. So we're going to be covering as much of it on the channel as we can. We have got there, I think England are looking brilliant compared to even 6. But definitely 13 months ago, but Argentina looks so poor. What is happening for them? I think that the big difference for Argentina has been no Santiago Chucabares in that number 12 jersey. He has, for me, like, it's just changed the game, not having him out there. They don't seem to be as set with their backline. There seems to be indecision, and, you know, it's costing them. You can't afford to hesitate up against a side that is in the form that England are. And England has got better than Scotland, fact, says Adlabar, and there as well. But ladies and gents, I did mention that we were going to have a guest on the channel. Some of you guys, definitely the ones who do support England, who do follow English rugby, I think you'll recognise this fella. We have done a collaboration before, not on my channel though. So ladies and gents, for the first time on the Kiwi Lads channel and for the first time on a live stream as well, for us, you're as Rich, or some of you will know him as Rugby Analyst. There we go. We have added you in, hopefully with a little bit of luck. Can you hear me, mate?
I'm there. I made it. I rushed into the garage just for you, Hamish. It's cold outside. It's nice inside.
Welcome in. It's been a bit of an interesting half. Maybe not as competitive as we did think, but as an English supporter here, you'd be pretty happy with that first 40, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's not a classic, is it? It probably wasn't going to be. The way the teams were set up, you thought it was going to be a kick fest, and it has been. England, yeah, they're good for their 17 points. They obviously could have kind of almost put it out of sight at the end there, but also Argentina probably mucked up 2 gilt-edged tries there. So it's you know, balance of play-wise, I think England are edging it, but, you know, scoreboard's looking a fair bit better.
And a few newer names in this English side as well. The likes of Max Ajomo, he has been very impressive in that number 12 jersey. Comes in, scores himself a try in only his second match for the English. Emmanuel Fiwai-Boso once again showing his type of impact that he can bring off of this English bench, labelled the POM squad. Who's that guy that you're looking at in that final kind of 20 or so minutes that can just rip this game wide open?
Yeah, well, I mean, Max Ajomo, we need a 12. We don't have a 12, Hamish. Dingwall's been doing a decent job, but Ajomo's got the X factor. So big game for him. He's going well so far. I mean, the vision for the crossfield kick for Fiwai-Boso, there, you know, there are two of our big stars coming through. So that's great news. And then, yeah, if England still have a decent lead with 25 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, you bring on, you know, Pollock, you bring on the other guys off the bench there. It should be too much, hopefully, but I think Argentina could well be ruining those couple of missed chances in the first half because, like I said, even though they've made quite a lot of mistakes, they had those opportunities.
And that penalty count as well is just starting to increase a little bit more for the Argentines as well. We haven't had any cards, though, which has been a complete difference compared to this whole weekend where the games have been played with yellows and reds. And there, I'm just going to get the penalty count at the moment. But in terms of one big thing that you feel like England and Argentina could do better in the second half, what would you say that it is for the two sides?
I think it's just cutting out the mistakes because it's such a kick-heavy game. Every little error really counts. No side is really massively building through big running phases. So that's probably why you're not getting those cards and things like that, because there's not this huge pressure. It's kind of one kick and let's see what happens sort of thing. I mean, you saw it straight from the off. Argentina, their first running attack is they half-heartedly went into contact because they were just going to kick it anyway. So I don't know. I think at some point, if Argentina are still behind, they're going to go for broke and run a bit more, and they can definitely play a good running game. They just haven't chosen to particularly yet. England have shut down the outside defence fairly well as well, but I think Argentina will be forced to open up, and we'll see a bit more entertainment, I think, in the second half.
And surprisingly, England given away 5 penalties to Argentina's 4. I felt like the Pumas got penalised more than 4 times throughout that first half, or maybe it was just those
mistakes.
Ones.
I think there's a lot of mistakes they made as well, which kind of feel like they made penalties. But England scrums looking good. That's another positive.
Only coming in at 870 or 880 kgs for this game. That's probably one of the lightest scrums around at the moment in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think Apoko Fajor is not a huge prop. Genji isn't a huge prop. Second row's Coles isn't a massive second row, but size doesn't always equate to power and technique, of course.
Yeah.
Hamish, you're gonna have to let me know if the second half is start getting ready to start, because I don't have anything with me.
No, I'm keeping an eye
on
it. Don't worry. I'll give you a warning.
Yeah,
and what I'm going to quickly do, ladies and gents, is anyone who doesn't know about Rich's channel, he is known as the Rugby Analyst on YouTube. I did see someone asking about it, so we will put the link in the chat as well. Be sure to hit
Rugby
subscribe.
Analyst, all one word.
Because this man, if you do love your English rugby, he literally covers everything to do with English rugby. He's got the lineup each week. He's got pretty much there's just video after video. Also just international rugby in general.
Yeah, I try and cover everything, but I am English, so I go big on England, of course.
Yeah. I thought there was going to be a different line after that saying, I am English, but... And then I was
right. No.
I had no idea where it was
nothing,
going.
I'm afraid. I think my distant family came over with some of them with William the Conqueror. So there's a bit of French back there. But there you go. Maybe English.
Way back in the day. But nonetheless, I think that the second half, we're going to get a lot more open play. Both of these sides, because England as well, the cheer that they got from the crowd when they decided to kick for the corner there, that's one of those ones that can turn you into a little bit more of an adrenaline chasing side, can't it? You get fired up and then you just get into the habit of wanting to get those 7-pointers because they can take threes. That drop kick's still wide open.
Yeah, it was a really weird, not a wrong decision, but it's weird because they had a penalty, a harder penalty, and they kicked at goal and missed it. And then they literally had a penalty a second later from an easier position and went to the corner. So a little bit strange, but, whatever.
I wonder whether or not, I don't think it's anything serious, but I did see George Ford after doing a kick from inside of the 22. He had a little buckle of his knee or something. So I wonder whether or not he's had something to do with that and said, actually, boys, maybe the kick for the corner is the better option, or maybe it's just literally...
Good spot. Yeah, maybe that's
they want the sevens. At the end of the day, one more try here, I think, closes out this game for England.
Yeah.
Although Argentina did score 33 points last week in the second 40 minutes against Scotland.
As a neutral, maybe it was a good thing England didn't score at the end of the half there. Not that I enjoyed that, but and also something to watch out for, I would say, is hopefully Freddie Stewart stays fit. Not because I think he is the man at 15, just because I want to see Marcus Smith come into 10, because he hasn't had a shot at 10 so far. He's covered 15 and he is a fly high. He's a running fly half. So if the game does open up, it would be nice for him to move into 10 rather than having to cover 15.
So you think that Ford will be the guy that they switch out there, theoretically, if Stewart's 100%? Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think so, yeah. If it's but he would suit a running game for 15 as well. So I maybe not, but I hope so, because he is a 10. He is the third 10, and he hasn't had a chance to show what he can do.
Yeah, second half, very close to starting up. I think we've probably got a couple minutes, but of course you will want to get back out to the TV so that you can catch it right from the get-go. But greatly appreciated you coming on the channel, mate. First time ever, and hopefully not the last. We will have to get you back some
it'd be great to have a big chat after these November internationals have finished. Maybe around the World Cup draw, something like that.
Maybe. Only about the 9 days away or so. It's getting close. England in that top 6. Who are you hoping for in your group out of that 7 to 12, just to throw you on the spot?
Well, I mean, you can see
Australians?
Australians I think would be fine. England match up fairly well against them. I think they match up fairly well against Argentina, because you can see the styles are similar-ish. And I think England, I'm not saying, obviously, Argentina are a really good team, but I think England will feel they can out Argentina, if you like. So I think those two, they'd be fairly happy with.
Oh, well, we'll get into it in the very near future. But yeah, no, thanks very much for coming on.
No problem, Hamish. We'll catch up soon.
We'll see you later on.
Cheers. Right. Bye.
I will press this button and this button and this button. There we go. I still get very confused at how to do these technological side of things, ladies and gents, but hopefully you guys did enjoy that. That is Rugby Analyst. Once again, I will put his link in the comments. Talks all things English rugby as well as internationals in general. We have got there. Much love to you, Rich. Thanks for coming. Says Will Song there. And Marcus Smith shouldn't be playing 15. Ford should start at 10. Says Sash in there. So yeah, by the sounds of it, Rich was saying he wants to see Marcus Smith go into that 10 role later on in the game when it starts to open up. But that is, of course, dependent on what we see from Freddie Stewart and whether or not he can play for the 80 minutes. The other option, I guess, they've also got is actually Max Ajomo, because they did show that he has got the ability to play in that 10 jersey. If there was an injury, I don't know whether or not you drop Ford to 12 or anything like that. It just seems like a hassle to do it like that. Are you working today? I think maybe in the afternoon. As English public done with George Ford? Not really. I think it's just more so looking at the attacking side of things and whether or not we'll get to see that combination, which we haven't seen a huge amount of. We have got there 2-0 to Arsenal, says Sash there, and this that's we're being the best, and the rankings part ways, England will have to beat South Africa a few times to become number one, although we've got to remember that Rugby World Cup in 2027, sides get double points. Absolutely not. George Ford is a brilliant fly half. He's brilliant in the set piece, says Will Song. And we have got there no chance of England overtaking the Box or the All Blacks. They'll still be number 1 or 2, says Paul Smith. And there as well. But they are just about to get back underway for the second half of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. England versus Argentina, both sides on the field. We probably went a little bit early with sending Rich away, but I know that he probably wants to see the very start of the second half. I think England will win the Six Nations 2026. They're honestly setting up quite nicely for it. So we have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Freddie Stewart, he is still out there on the field. I'm just waiting to see if any changes have been made. I do still see George Ford out there too. So Marcus Smith waiting a bit longer before we get to see him out there. And I don't think there's any changes in the forward pack that they have mentioned as of yet either. But 17 points to 3. Oh, they're just talking about a concussion test that someone is doing. Now big step. Oh, that's a chopping tackle from Sam Underhill. I'm not sure how much of an arm was involved in that one. Do you think it would be bad for rugby in general if the Box win the 2027 World Cup? 31 again. I think it will be great for the Springboks, but it may get a little bit like Super Rugby, how people start going off it if the same side wins over and over. That's going to be a penalty, though, early on in favour of the Argentines. So that is the 6th penalty now up against the English. England reckon they'll win every Six Nations, though, says Sunshine. Well, it's, you know, most sides do try and have that confidence about their teams. Like France will feel good going into the next one. Ireland, they will still feel like they've got a decent chance of taking it. Underhill has no arms. Oh, well, then I guess it's fine then. And remember, England were robbed. Did they actually penalise him for a no-arms tackle there, or was that something else? Because they are showing Sam Underhill at the moment on the screen. Remember, England were robbed, says Stewart. Was that in that Irish game that we're talking about? However, there, that's what I thought as well, but it's not far-fetched, says Ruby. But it's not so easy to beat the Box, says Rudolph, but the ball is now being turned over by England. Just the one face put together for Argentina before they did end up losing it. And Juan Cruz Malia charging sideways. This one's going to be kicked down the middle of the field. Nicely taken just outside of the 22 by England. I've also seen that guy you talk to on a YouTube channel, and he also comes from England. He does. Yeah, his name is the Rugby Analyst, or at least that is his YouTube name, and it's not his actual name, of course. Now kick downfield. Looking for the 50-22 there, but the ball sits up for Thomas Albanos. And New Zealand versus South Africa in the World Cup, says Stewart there. And also, England have been perpetually robbed in all sports since 1966, says Sunshines. And for the Six Nations, any one of the 3 teams can win it, really. France, Ireland, England equally stand a chance to take it, says Cited. The second half starting in a little bit of a similar fashion to the first, how it's been a bit of a kicking battle between the two sides. Now, line out throw for Luke Cowan-Dickey. Going to be available again. What a kick, says I Lollipop. Now moving in the sideways direction at the moment. Ben Spencer looking to the short side. Manages to get the pass away to Emmanuel Fairwhite-Bosso. He was looking up at the Argentine defence and ends up dropping the ball. And what a kick, says I Lollipop. I mean, I've got there. Everybody say South Africa robbed the World Cup. The end result shows it always, says Brett. And can the Boomers win now? Hamish, what do you think? Well, they were down by 14 up against Scotland in their game last week. And they came back to win it. But I do think that at the moment, this England side have got some very good structure. They haven't really allowed any sort of massive opportunities for Argentina. And then when Argentina have created their chances, they have dropped that ball. So the biggest thing at the moment for them will be less errors and more tries. If they can do that, maybe they can come back in this game. But that is where they have to start. And they definitely have to be the next side to score. I think Ireland will start to slip behind England and France. As Harry Pollock's on the field. He is not yet on the field, Henry Pollock. Neither is Tom Curry, and neither are any of the Poms squad just at this point in time. England have not looked like the best team, not even close to it, since 2003. And given a team that's playing dirty like South Africa giving a team that's playing dirty like South Africa into the Six Nations would be the biggest mistake in rugby, or in the history of the Six Nations, says Graham. No Pollock yet, says Sash. And Ireland away to France and England. They will finish third again, says Jimbo. And England are a much better side than Scotland, says Cited. Yeah, they've seemed to... Well, defensive structure-wise, they're probably quite similar, those two sides. And normally do have a close game when they play each other. It's just normally when Scotland play other teams that they do struggle there a little bit more. Hello, Hassim. I'm back in South Africa after being in Gabon last week, says Sean. So yeah, hopefully you did enjoy your trip. Now, big run from Thomas Gasho, 25 metres out from the line now for the Argentines, breaking through one Martin Gonzalez with a bit of pace, and Guido Petty now 5 metres out from the try line. Argentina 6 metres out, trying to make a difference. There's another penalty advantage against the English. And I'll take their penalty count up to 7 in the half. Delgado tries to spin. England will once again look to hold them up if they can. Watching from France here, says Dave there. But now across, Benitez Cruz and Argentina score right next to the post. Justo Pichardo, and now they are back in the game. We have got their Six Nations will be decided when England visit Paris. Come on, Argentina, says Graham there, and they have got themselves the all-important try at the start of the second half. This 12 has been great, eh? Says Sush. And come on, England, says unoriginal username. And there as well, but... they just had the passing options. They had about 7 men ready for the ball, Argentina, and only about 3 men defending for the English. To be fair, Scotland has more flair and when running, but England have better defence, have more a handle on the high ball, and Vamos Argentina says sunshines, but that kick has gone over. We have got there, you mentioned Choco Barres, but this kid might step up, and it was probably more of the case of they just needed him to be out there for more time, alongside Lucio Cinti, or alongside, Matthias Maroni. I think I said Cinti earlier on rather than Matthias Maroni, which is my bad. They need to score early in the half to get the momentum back, and that is exactly what they've done. 17 points to 10 now between these two sides. And after that try, this is actually where we're seeing the changes made for Argentina. Delgado, Grondona, and Marcos Crema making their way off. So we see Pablo Matera, Joaquin Oviedo, and also Rapetti all making their way onto the field. So that seems like an interesting changing time, but I guess they want their fresh legs right after they've taken the momentum back. And Argentina taking this, says Sunshine. I told you Pumas will start playing rugby now, says James, at a good attack and run from, I believe it was, Albanos. And Crema is on, or Crema is off at this stage. Matera is on, alongside Oviedo. And now rolling this one back, Benitez Cruz. Ready to kick this one up high. And England may not be a mile away from making some of their changes as well. Rodrigo Isgro, both men went up for it. And it's going to be a knock-on against Freddie Stewart, who is limping after that hard collision. Now we have got there, lady I mean, says John, and Stewart broke. Yeah, this doesn't look good for Freddie Stewart. It was just talked about only about 10 minutes ago. They were hoping to see him stay fresh. Jeez, he spun hard there. They said that both men went up for the ball. Rodrigo Isgro, he's limping a little bit as well here. No man coming out of that challenge without some sort of wound. Is Marcus Smith on? Not yet. But if Freddie Stewart has to make his way from the field, that is more than likely going to be for Marcus Smith. Meanwhile, England, still the only northern side to win the World Cup, yay, says Will Song. And, not good. Hey, Stewart is a great player. And come on, Argentina, they had a good player for Leinster back in the day. Contepomi. Was a legend for his country and went at Leinster. But they had a good player, and he is now, I believe, isn't he the coach of the team now? Or maybe that's actually a different fella, isn't it? But now, ball is in the hands of Argentina around the halfway line. Prior to exclusion, South Africa were top 1% wins, and is the only rugby nation to have enforced quotas since, despite the odds, says Sunshine. And also we have got there France at the best in the Six Nations, says Shane. They are the defending champs. At this point in time, told to use it again for Benitez Cruz. Rolls it back. Will look to kick this one high off his left boot. And yeah, he's the coach now. Says Lummy there, and England are looking good for the Six Nations in 2026, says Gavin. A backline movement for Argentina, who are starting to take control of this game in terms of possession. Just in recent times, good attack and run from Justo Picardo. At this point in time, has been a good day to be a number 12, both sides having their 12 scoring earlier on. Rodrigo Isgro close to the sideline. Tackled by Daly and Cowan Dickey. Now Oviedo takes the collision with Maro Itoje. Now Repeti recently made his way onto the park. That was for Delgado, who was starting. Now big chopping tackle. Pablo Matera trying to get back up to his feet, but he was held, so wasn't able to do so. Around our chances, just France and Ireland to worry about, really, says Will Song. Yeah, there's some big matches of that Six Nations that, certain games, for me, will determine the whole competition. England versus France is one. Ireland, a couple of their big matches are the others for me. And, yeah, it's just pretty much that trio in terms of who is going to go away with the big victories. And even if you lose, bonus points could be absolutely crucial as well. The ball still on the side of Argentina. They get themselves a penalty right. At this point in time, I would love to see Argentina kick this for the corner, but I think they'll go for 3 points. They have to decide whether or not taking the penalties would actually win them this game, or whether England will still fire back with a try of their own. What is the decision here for the Pumas? I want to see them kick for the corner, but I don't know whether or not they'll do it. I think that this is probably an easy 3 points if they really do want to go for it. But it depends on how aggressive they want to go early in this half. Daily selling. Says short videos there, and to look tough and play hard. You do not make your dirty players, you sound sour, says Andrea. And also France here, anyone but the box. And the lineouts haven't worked, says Sush. And there, so do you take a scrum instead then, in the middle of the field? And come on, England, stop messing around and get the next point, says George. And they should bank the points, says Sush. And there as well. But currently 8 penalties against the English, so any sort of other penalty inside of this area on the field could start to move towards the direction of a yellow card. Looks like there is an injury at this point in time, but it's actually the young prop, Asher Apoku Fujio, who will have to make his way off in good time. They are just testing out his neck, making sure that it is all right, so you're counting Wales out then. Says Flesh in there. Maybe a little bit of it. Does look like now the Pom squad are getting ready to go. Henry Pollock. He is there. Finn Baxter. Also Will Stewart. And who is that in the background? That was Tom Curry with his head down. They are about to make 4 changes all at once. They're taking the penalty. Says Mornay there. And best thing that can happen, Irish Rugby now is AF being deselected as Irish, or Andy Farrell being deselected as Lions head coach. Disruption has been terrible. It leads to 2, says Jimbo. How much does URC players impact the Six Nations, says Philip? Well, normally what happens is during the Six Nations, they don't have URC rounds involving the the Irish, Scottish, and all those sides. Right, they are going to take on the 3 points here. Argentina, that is the choice. They have gone with box open for England in the semis. Crushing England's arrogance is a national pastime, says Sunshine. And I don't know, Wales has their own class of their own. Now Thomas Albanoz here, sitting 2 from 2 at the moment. Going to make it 3. The national team says Sush. And 100% on rugby history. Kiwis beat the most teams more. South Africa has 2 World Cups. Or has the World Cups, so 2 best in the South. Almanaz using up all of the seconds that he can here. Which I don't know if you necessarily need to. You are still down on the point side of things. Nailed it, says Sush. That kick has gone over, making the score now 17 points to 13. And here we go. This is a switch. And what English arrogance, says Smarty Pancake in there. Now, I'm going to go for the changes. 4 off of the bench here for the Pom squad. Henry Pollock coming onto the field for Sam Underhill. Finn Baxter out there for Genge. Stewart on there for Apoku Fajor, whose name I still butcher. And then also the other change, Tom Curry. He has made his way on, I want to say, for Guy Pepper. Argentina has a tendency to finish strongly in their last game. 33 points throughout the second half up against the Scottish. They will be looking to do the same thing here. Have to wait to see if they can. We are beaten 2. We've been beaten too much to be arrogant, says Smarty Pancake. And Argentina, oh no, I read that one. Now rolling this one back. Moyano, he has made his way onto the field for Benitez Cruz. Albanos is off, so that was the last kick of the day for him. And that's a knock-on from Rodrigo Isgro. Means that Santiago Guerreras makes his way on. He was the man of the match up against the Scottish. Now we have there indeed the only arrogance I see are the box moaning about the refs every 5 minutes, says Wolf Song. As Henry Pollock got a headband, Amish, he does. For this one, or some strapping, I think it might actually be. Same with Tom Curry. Now selling a dummy from Henry Slade. Finds the pass up to Tom Curry. Off to the left-hand side. Will Stewart, tackled low by Argentina. In this case, it was Pedro Rubiolo. And the Bold squad. Here's Casper. This one's going to be kicked high by Ford. Going sideways. Elliot Daly slaps it back for the English. Managing to retain it again. See, that's the thing. Daly, some people aren't the biggest fan of him. They're calling for him to be out of there, but he can still win a high ball. The next Rugby World Cup is going to be interesting. It absolutely is. There's about 8 sides that will be in contention for being able to win. A bit of a nothing kick there coming from the English as they all retreat, knowing that that was the mistake. George Ford getting back into his own 22. Awkward bouncing ball. Passes it across to Elliot Daly off his left boot. Puts it into touch, but another gain of territory here for the Argentines. Henry Pollock for a red card tonight. What's he going to do that's going to get him a red card? Possession last 10 minutes, 98% in favour of Argentina. If this isn't a momentum shift, I don't know what is. They are making more changes by the sounds of it. In fact, it's going to be Marcos Crema. He was actually off for an HIA, which does mean that Pablo Matera will make his way back off of the field at this stage. And come on, Jeds, Daly should keep his spot, not going to lie, says Sush. And Pollock will be a Pumas dinner tonight, says James. And Vamos Los Pumas, says Super Duper. And there as well. But now ready to throw this ball in for the Argentines. And I'm Argentina, says Bruce. That one's going to be claimed now at the line-out. Moyano showing off some of his quick stepping. Now Santiago Guerreras, tackled by Benul. Nothing wrong with Daly, a great player, says James. Yeah, he still does more than enough right to be out there on the field. Definitely with the rotation and the injuries that England had to deal with as well. Now trying to get that steal and the breakdown unsuccessful. Juan Cruz Malia, 40 metres out from the English try line. Back to the left-hand side, finding Guido Petty, tackled by Henry Pollock. Now, Santiago Guerreras kicks it high. Emmanuel Fiawaibo went up and manages to get a slap on it, even though he misread it. I think it was because one of the Argentine players kind of stood there rather than jumping. How old is Daly? I think he's 35. I want to say for Elliot Daly. In fact, he may even be older than that. Is he 35, 37? He's 33. My apologies. He's been around for so long, Elliot Daly, but no, he's only 33 years old. When's his birthday? 8th of October, so he only just turned 33 as well. That was a bit too harsh on him. Now we have got there, Daly has had a successful career versus Ireland. Thought on our side, says Jimbo. Now back across to the right-hand side. Now Moyano. I'm back across to the left-hand side. I turned 33 in January. Says Sush there. And also we've got there, Sussy, says William. And Puma's trash from William as well. So he is not happy with the Argentines. I can't work out whether or not, are you Argentine or are you English, William? I assume you're English, saying that you're not liking what Argentina are doing. But 98% possession is definitely a concerning stat from the last 10 minutes of this contest, although England now getting themselves that ball back. Maro Itoje passes it onwards, finds the hands of Henry Slade, skips it out wide now into the hands of the inside centre, who has been electric throughout this game, Max Ajomo. Sir, I've got it, was the comment there from Rodrigo Isgro. But cannot get that steal like they would have liked. Ben Spencer back across to Ford. Watching this from prison, says user. Well, hopefully it is going all right for you then. Who has the ball? Mr. Kiwi at the moment, the English. Got themselves the possession with 25 minutes remaining on the clock, and Ben Spencer will go for the aerial kick once more. Now, that's going to be nicely taken by Juan Cruz Malia, who's been pretty safe under the high ball today. Rassi, the World Coach of the Decade, says what Tex? And every Springbok, Aussie and Kiwi want Argentina to win, says Darren. It's only 4 points, that's nothing. How many Englishmen are on the field at the moment, says John? At the moment, 15 on 15. We haven't seen a single card throughout this contest, and it has been absolutely brilliant. Now Freddie Stewart trying to step his way through, finds the offload up to Ben Earl. Tackle around the halfway line by Pedro Rubiolo. Now Waikato pass from George Bourne, finds the hands of Ajomo again. Arasi will never be elected as the best World Rugby coach, says Desmond. Oh, that's going to be the knock on. Now Argentina, they'll fancy their chances of getting a counter-attack going here. Santiago Herreras gets it on the outside to Rodrigo Isgro. A low skidding kick. This one may have just a little bit too much on it. It's in the in-goal area. So Freddie Stewart will force it down and the goal line drop out. Can we see the match on where? Says Yosu, it does depend on whereabouts you are in the world. Oh, in fact, that's Yusuf. My apologies. I didn't quite work out where it did start and finish in terms of your name in the app. But it is available on TNT in the UK. It's available on Sky Sport here in New Zealand, Stan Sport in Australia, DSTV in South Africa as well. Do have this one, 14-3 to England, says Will Song. A nice comeback from Argentina, 13 unanswered points back, says Brett. And yeah, that's exactly what they did up against Scotland as well. 33 points in that second half up against the Scottish. Now going high, Freddie Stewart, nice take. Under the high ball once more, Batista Del Gui going for the counter. Rucking Argentina, get themselves the penalty. This one is a kickable 3, but it's right next to the sideline at the moment. So the better option may actually be to go for the corner. Now it's in London, says Graham there. Now watching from space, says R9. And also nobody is scared of England, says Lizzie. And also the South fears nothing, says Sash there. And also the Box ABs, Pumas, Wallabies, says Sasha. And watching from my mum's Spitfire, says Wolf Song. And £150 a ticket, says John Wright. Argentina have kicked this one into touch. They will be about maybe 12 metres out from the line. Maybe not quite as much distance on that kick as they would have preferred. But still a good position to be beat, England, says Bruce. And the thing is, England have given away about 9 penalties at the moment throughout this matchup, which means any more inside of their 22, and we could see the first card of this contest. But going short side for the Argentines, well marked by Maro Itoje. He did spot it early. Stopped any chance of them being able to break through. 5 metres out from the try line, Moyano goes across again. Like they are saying, 17-0 down for the Argentines in this contest. Brought it back to 17-3. There was a disallowed try right at the end of the first half for the English. Big driving tackle from Henry Pollock on Oviedo, making them lose a couple metres, but then the offload coming for the Pumas. Itoje. Rush defence there again from the English. Rubiolo hits it up about 15 metres from the line, middle of the field. Argentina going left-hand side. Another big tackle made from Pollock. And Juan Cruz Malia, there's an advantage though for not rolling away. Pick and go from, it was the number 18 for Argentina. Oh, okay, they're going to go back, and it is another penalty. And this might be the last warning for the English, or it could end up being a yellow card for Henry Pollock for not rolling away quick enough here. Please come, says the referee. Okay, it is an official warning now for the English after that one. Better angle, says Ruby. This one is a much more kickable 3. But in this scenario now, if you're Argentina and you're dominating the position, do you go for it as Henry Pollock got a nose, Hamish? He's not Voldemort, mate. Unless he is, because you don't like saying his actual name, so maybe he is the guy that you can't name. I don't know what happens if you name Voldemort, though. I haven't watched enough of Harry Potter. Does he he comes and messes you up a little bit, maybe? The box dominant says H. Duncan. England destroy the Pumas, but no tries for them, says Scott. And one more, and then someone goes to the bin, and it looks like Argentina have actually opted to go for the 3 points. See, in this scenario, I don't mind the 3, but I also, I don't know, I feel like I would have liked to see the corner and try and push for that yellow card. Henry Pollock says short videos, and also he appears. So that wouldn't be, well, I mean, that's not a bad, well, unless Henry Pollock does appear at John's house, maybe. And they go, oh, that one's gone over. They go a curse if you say his name. They know where you are. And point says John, but that is going to make the score now 16 points to 17 with just the 20 minutes remaining. And early Christmas card for England coming soon, says Sunshine. One more point, says Ty Trini. Boo, says Scott Bowie. And Let's Go, says Lizzie King. But now Ben Spencer, he will make his way off the field. Alex Mitchell makes his way on, and Marcus Smith does not look like he is making his way onto the park anytime soon. And Carreras can kick from anywhere. Get within a kick, says Jimbo. And now the ball in the hands of Argentina again. The momentum has completely shifted in this contest, ladies and gents. It has been all Pumas throughout the second half. Let's F these Pirates, says Rudolph. Let's F these Pirates. You've made me speechless. I don't even know what to say about that. But that is a full pass from England. And the crowd are not happy, but it means that Argentina have themselves this scrum feed on the halfway line. I'm from Argentina, but in rugby, I never support the national team, says sub 30, and Vamos, says Sash. Okay, commentator saying, I don't think so. I think it's accidental offside, though, from Stewart, isn't it? Or no, that does look forward from Alex Mitchell as he was going backwards. He did try and get that pass moving. Crowd are not happy. No, it's not forward. It's flat. Says short videos. I think it didn't help the fact that Freddie Stewart was retreating to take that catch. It kind of made it look a lot worse. And England are self-glorified haters. It's always a joy to see them meet reality, says Sunshine. And Vamos, says Philip there as well. And that was flat, says Sam. And now Moyano, ready to put the ball in. Right, Pablo Matera has passed his head injury assessment. I didn't even realise he went off for one. I think he went off or he came off because Pablo Matera returned, but England get themselves the scrum penalty. Henry Pollock fired up for that one. Matthew Carley would have penalised him for that. Just ask Marnie Libok in the game between Ireland and South Africa. But we have got their Pumas, got this mush, says Josh. Although that's a big momentum swinger for the English. They have still got a few more changes that they can make off of their bench as well. I spotted our first 11, but Pumas is just a wild feline. At least for me, says sub 30. That is a good, solid push from the English, collapsing the front row. And Ben Earl fired up as well. Let's go Argentina. Love from the South. ABs, Aussies and South Africans, says Brett. Now in the hands of Elliot Daly. Middle of the field here. Alex Mitchell passes across to Luke Cowan-Dickie. There's a little bit of a sense of urgency here from the English at the moment on attack. They know that they haven't had many chances throughout the second half. Now back across to the left-hand side. Chance here. Nice stepping coming from Henry Slade. Rodrigo Isgro looking for the steal, but he is cleaned out of the breakdown. This is 42 years old. Or this is 42 years, says Peter. And score prediction is 25-26. It's looking like it could be that close at the moment. I was hoping for a game slipped by less than 7. When it was 17-0, it didn't seem like we were going to get that. But now it looks like it is well and truly on for this game to be close. Henry Pollock joining the breakdown alongside Emmanuel Fiuabosa to protect the ball and keep it on the side of the Red Roses. Or sorry, the Roses in general, or just England. Probably better go by. I think Red Roses is more referring to the women's side, isn't it? Or the men's side, the Roses, women's side, Red Roses, right? Is that correct? Or are they just both the Roses? I've confused myself. England aren't even wearing red for today. So they're kind of the black and blue roses. That looked like a forward pass into the hands of Will Stewart, but currently sitting 12 metres out from the try line. Now going off to Henry Slade, tries the step, but again Argentina defend very nicely. Men's roses, women's red roses, and go on the Argies do it for the South. No advantage at the moment. Favour of England. Oh, drop goal. George Ford sees the chance, but he's missed. So George Ford, he has now missed twice in a row. One penalty, one drop kick. Interesting choice here for the English, but that just tells you they're feeling a little bit more of the pressure, and Argentina are defending well enough that England weren't making substantial ground to feel like they could break through for the try. That has to give you huge pressure, huge confidence if you are the Argentines. And terrible snatch. Says a Jimbo, and he's stretched. And I was like, come on the Pumas. I don't know. George says Wolf Song, not the option A. I don't think so. They were 13 phases in. Yes, they weren't making a huge amount of ground, but you're still sitting inside of your opposition 22. Force an advantage. And then from there, you can go into the drop kick if you were looking at going for the 3 points. But at least if they had scored and converted, that would almost be enough to win the game. Matera is on. Yeah, so he goes back onto the field. That is for Marcos Crema. They were a bit confused about who was failing the HIAs, or at least who was trying to pass them. I believe Crema went, I want to say, off the field for an HIA. Or maybe Matera actually went off and then Crema came back on due to that. Oh, I think Santiago Carreras was trying to say he got hit in the head there, looking at the referee and asking for him to check. Zimbabwe won't win one game in the Six Nations, says Martin, and trying to bring on Marcus, says Chloe. Are you bringing him on for Stewart or are you bringing him on for George Ford? I think that George Ford was the original plan, or at least it sounded that way from Rich earlier on. Good game, says Rudolph. Yeah, fantastic game to close out the November internationals. Of course, there is still the match between Wales and South Africa, but it doesn't quite count as that November international window. Now, inside ball from Ford. That looked forward. They may have to check that one, but for now, it's in the hands of the English. Going short side, George Ford went to Curry. Does knock that ball backwards. It's going to be a new advantage for in through the side. England get themselves the penalty. But I think that pass of George Ford may not have gone in a backwards direction when he fed him through the gap. We're going to see the replay now. Probably about a metre in front of him there, that run from Alex Coles. But it was play on, and England get themselves that advantage now. And they are kicking for the quarter. Right, the game, once again, the mentality has changed. Last time that George Ford missed the kick in the first half, England went for the corner. This second half, just like the first, pretty much the same. We have got there the ABs are the masters of four passes. Says Rick, that's why I'm picking them out so well. But Henry Pollock takes it at the line out. Now a new advantage. That is for sacking it from Argentina. Now going off to the right-hand side. George Ford flat ball offload up. And Henry Slade scores the try. That may be enough to get the victory. But there is still time remaining on the clock. But a big one for the English. Henry Slade scores it. And also we have got there, Zimbabwe, they used to have a competitive rugby, very good cricket team, says Mr. Lisa. Now, ref intervenes, Lowell says Sush in there as well. George Ford was the offload from the ground. Very nicely done by Ajomo. He's been involved in everything today. He has had 1 try, 2 try assists, and he's got to be man of the match if England pull off this win. Upset coming up, says Jan. I would say that with England getting this kick over from George Ford, it is straight out in front of the post. I think that the chance of the upset is slowly slipping away unless Argentina can be the next side to score some form of points in this one again. I think the first try by Valimza, where Peter Steph-Totoy assisted him, was a 4 pass. Says Andor, I can't even remember it, if I'm being honest. No South African England are the master of 4 passes, says James Talangi. And there is enough time that if he misses the conversion, late Pumas drop goal, he has not missed though. But you're still right. Even if he gets this conversion, they are only down by the 8 points at this point in time. 13 minutes remaining, Ian, on the clock. Steve Borthwick, he is looking nervous, as you would be as a coach in this type of scenario. 13 minutes remaining. It's going to be taken again by a big man at 12. He got to be man of the match, Ajomo, in this game. Let's enjoy the game, says Desmond there. And Oz, don't cry for me, Argentina. You know England is going to beat you. Says Chris. This one's put high. Slapped back by the English. In the hands of Will Stewart now, trying to get the fend on Moyano. Gets rid of him. 4 cars are great, says John. And England might give Zimbabwe a good game, says Saf there. That one's going up, nicely taken. Now short side. Chance here for the Argentine number 12. Is that just as good of a game? And that 12 jersey, Picardo. Now back across, right-hand side here for the Pumas. They know that they have to get something going very soon. Every 4 pass, New Zealand is flat. Says, ain't got the answers. And also, I want to play football in the Maldives. Or in the Malvinas, sorry. Says sub 30, only 12 minutes, and now no Marcus Smith. Yeah, Marcus Smith yet to make his way onto the field, or at least he hasn't from what I have seen. I'm still looking around. George Ford's still out there. Freddie Stewart's still out there. Borthwick. And very much so limit the minutes that we see from Smith in this game. We have got there the master of the 4 passes has always been the ABs. Used to get away with murder. Says Mr. C Maths. And also, where is England playing? They're playing at Twickenham Stadium, or Allianz Stadium as it's called, but Twickenham Stadium. And 8 points, not 9, by the way. Yeah, it is 8 points between these two sides, like I mentioned. And now, ball's going to be there for Rodrigo Isgro. Now rolling this one back. Oh, as a ref, Hamish Akiwi, he is French. It is Pierre Brousset, I believe, who's in charge of this game. The ball has been ripped away by Argentina. Now Santiago Herreras kicking down the middle of the field. I think he's got too much on that. That ball's going to keep on skidding. Does it go in the in goal? No, just pulls up. Turned out to be a well-weighted kick. Now Freddie Stewart off his right boot will kick this one downfield. Doesn't manage to find touch with it on the halfway line. Rodrigo Isgro moves up to 40 out from the English line. Almost cut through. Henry Pollock in the breakdown and wins the penalty for England. A brilliant steal from the youngster. What a load of crap maths. There's Cooper in there. And we have there Twickenham has been a fortress this tournament. It makes me so proud as an Englishman. Says Will Song. And 3 quick drop goals, says Xander. The run out ideas, says Sash in there. And Springboks next world champs. And Henry Pollock makes these short videos. And cheating, says Sam in there. But now, England going to be kicking this one into touch. Only a couple minutes left. Or 10. 10 minutes still remaining on the clock. Although it will only feel like a couple of minutes for these sides, as the clock will absolutely fly by for the remainder of this match. Pollock still not eaten, says Marty Pancake. And brilliant commentary, by the way, says Dave. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. We have got plenty more coming up in the near future. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So we have got many more games taking place. The URC coming back next week. International Rugby, the Sevens as well. The commentators have just said that when Itoje starts a match, he goes the full 80 in his last 23 matches when he has started. He called it a naughty stat on Itoje. I don't know what's naughty about going 80 minutes. Well, depends on what context, I guess. 80 seconds is enough, isn't it? Now, Ben Earl, another penalty advantage for the English. Now let's go to Sharks there, Sasha. How many cards were shown in this game? None whatsoever as of yet. But he lost his headband average. Well, he won the game for the English if they do manage to get another 3 points over here. Right, what do they decide? I think they're looking towards the post. Maro Itoje points at them. And we have got there the salt coming from the box. Like Man United fans. Says Wolf Song. And don't jinx it, says Big Rig. And let's get a gents 31 points to 16, says Wolf Song. Although they are going for the 3 instead. So 27-16. That's how it will sit. We appreciate you getting up so early. Getting up early? I haven't been to bed. But no, I did sleep during the day today. And then got up at about, I think it was about 8 p.m. And then I've just been up ever since. It's currently 7 a.m. in the morning. Probably will stay up for the day as well. And time for England to taste a red card. Says Andrew, 80 seconds. Says Andrew there. And Pollock gets the difference, says Jeff. Now ready to kick this one. George Ford to add the additional 3. And the clock is slowly continuing to tick down here. Thanks for covering this match. Get some rest soon. Says Wilson, thank you, Hamish. Says Sash, no worries at all. But yeah, we're closing in on the final moments of this contest. at the moment. You have to say that they'll be pretty disappointed with how it sits at the moment for Argentina. They need that big moment. Who's the ref? Pierre Brosset is the man in charge of this one. Oh, there we go. They just jinxed it. Maru Atoje making his way off the field. So as the commentators were just saying, when he starts a game, he always finishes it, as he doesn't finish this one. So we see Eels making his way on. Posts a run down the clock, says Mr. C. He's streaming so late, I'm watching the match live on TV. See short videos. We'll make sure not to put in any spoilers. Nice take from Alex Mitchell. So casually taken next to the sideline. I've actually never asked this, but is Alex Mitchell in any way related to John Mitchell, or is it just same name? And great commentary, says trailer there. And also we have got the who is captain now. I assume captain would be Ben Earl? Would it? No, or has Ben Earl made his way off the field? No, Ben Earl's still out there, so maybe Ben Earl. Oh, that's a big shot. George Ford also could be the captain. His sister. And you know, David Mitchell, not off the top of my head. Ex-England player? Is he? And also England still unbeaten, says Jeff Hay. And congratulations, no sneezing today. Yeah, it's actually been quite good. The same surname, no family links. Okay. And can't wait for the next England versus box, says Brett. And Hamish, they are stepbrothers. There was a movie made about them, says Xander. But now, ball is in the hands of England again, and they are currently leading this game by 11 points, so they have no worries. Just being able to slowly close out this fixture, slowing the game right down, and it is strategic. At the end of the day, Argentina, this is when they want the game to be pushed to that next level in terms of speed, tempo. But if England can just continue to methodically work their way towards that 80 minutes for the final 6 of this contest, they will close out this game with a victory. Definitely with where Argentina are at the moment. They're only 22 metres out from their own line. Now rolling this one back. England beaten. They've been well beaten repeatedly by the box, the All Blacks, and Argentina and Australia for decades. Their sun shines. Oh, big collision. Or big aerial attempt from Freddie Stewart, who's almost done his knee in the process. I will mention still no Marcus Smith out there on the field for the English with 6 minutes remaining. Kick downfield. Argentina 50-22. They will get it, but the decision is the late tackle. So I think Argentina will actually be awarded the tackle where the ball bounced. The penalty where the ball bounced. How late was this from Tom Curry? He came through and clattered into the side of Juan Cruz Malia. We have got there sunshine. Have you seen how Italy nearly scored the box? We ain't worried about you, says Will Song. Unbeaten in the last 10 matches, bro, says Jeff Hayes. And yeah, this will make it 11, won't it, for the English? How many pens, says Sash? There's been a lot. Should be a yellow, says Sash. And to be fair, that is the about 11th penalty. I just mentioned there that Tom Curry actually got himself penalised against Argentina in the World Cup for an early tackle, a late tackle as well. 10 matches don't make greatness, mate, says Sunshine. But yeah, looks like he's actually injured Juan Cruz Malia quite badly. So that is a big concern for the Argentines. Luckily, there is no rugby international-wise that has taken place for the Pumas in the future. But still, club rugby-wise, Malia definitely wouldn't have wanted to be out. Hopefully nothing too serious. Nothing late about it, and he took care of Malia, says Jimbo, which is why Malia is now off the field injured. Oh, big collision there with Pablo Matera and Finn Baxter, who apologises to him. So that is going to be a tackle off the ball, penalty advantage now. And it must be a red card then, eh? Says Will Song. Well, he didn't hit him high, and he didn't shoulder charge him. So that's at least only working it down to just a penalty, which is good. And we want to avoid any sort of yellow card in this contest, because then we would have gone the full 80 minutes without a single card, showing that it can still be done. An international rugby short ball to Juan Martin Gonzalez, trying to pump his legs. We can't get through Ben Earl. 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Now still not able to quite break through. Bring on a Marcus Tesla, says a user. Yeah, I'm surprised that Marcus Smith hasn't been brought out onto the field as of yet. And now it's still under that penalty advantage for the Argentines. Now, with the way that it sits, they are 11 points down, so they can't take a 3 here. That's a knock-on, so they will go back for the penalty now. Pumas need to try here or it's over. And a clean victory for England, says Jeff. And Marcus having a nap, says Big Rick. Oh, someone is having a bit of a nap at the moment. Looks like Will Stewart has hurt his wrist. And Curry is a madhouse. Right, time is off. Okay, the commentator's just had an absolute shocker when it comes to his maths. He has just made the comment, if you're Argentina, you take the 3 points here. Or he said something along those lines of, why don't you take the 3 rather than going through phases? Then you get yourself the 3 points and you only use up 30 seconds. They're down by 11. So that maths ain't mathin'. They should have been advantage of way too long. And can't even beat a 12-man island side. Says Wolf Song. He ties his England choked against the Box in the World Cup. And as long as England don't break the unbeaten record of 18 held by New Zealand, says Cooper. Looks like, is there about to be a change here? So 3 minutes remaining. And again, they're going to kick this one towards the corner. Ireland did it once. They did a drop goal when they were 4 points behind. Says Big Rig. Although, was it at the very end of the game, Big Rig, or was it like they had some time remaining? Because I guess if there was some clock remaining, you could understand it just a little bit. But obviously the try is the one that you think they'll go for. Steve Borthwick giving his players game time. See how they perform. Says Sean, but now rolling maul attempt here for the Pumas. Currently 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. So they lost by 1. Says Big Rig, it was in the 83rd minute. Okay, that is quite a bad moment. See, I thought maybe it was like the 79th minute and they wanted to go again near the end. Now still trying to roll forward. Another penalty advantage. I think we're going to see a yellow card in this game. We were so close to 80 minutes without one. But now on the short side, step coming there from Juan Martin Gonzalez. Ball's there again. Pablo Matera just short. And Pumas, they have not got Juan Cruz Malia at the moment. I think they're actually playing with 14 because they don't have anyone off the bench that they could have been using here, Argentina. But they are 1 metre out from the try line. England slowing it down in the breakdown. Very smart play at the moment, but reaching out and scoring the try. It is Joaquin Oviedo. He's been a standout for the Pumas throughout this year. And they now score themselves the try that gets them back within another try of somehow coming back to win this game. Let's see if England do play the box and beat them. Says Desmond, now the Pumas 1 more kickoff. So now they have a decision to make here for Argentina. Do they use up a majority of this time trying to get this kick over? It looks like already the ball is on the tee for Santiago Herreras. This is quite an important kick because if you get this one, it takes the pressure off your next one and it just means you have to score. Right, it sounded like they were checking something. Herreras has tapped it over though. Okay, never mind. TMO's getting involved. This one's probably going to be disallowed, I would say. They're checking the grounding. It almost seemed like the fairy tale was beginning for the Pumas, but they are checking it now for Joaquin Oviedo. Right, well, to be fair, they didn't give it as a try in the first half for the try of Luke Cowan-Dickie. I think this one's going to be disallowed as well. He kicked it already. That does not matter. They actually have changed the laws, which says that they can go back right up until the kickoff. England need to run away, or need to run any spill here, says Mr. C. So it's going to be no try, knock on. I think they did have the advantage, so it's going to be a yellow card against the English number 5. Alex Coles will be going to the bin. England got a disallowed only for that. Argentina gets one too, says Wolf Song. And how is that not a penalty try then? Says Alami. But changing the bind is the penalty against Alex Coles. Too bad Argentina only played for 40 minutes. Now we have got their yellow card in the last minute to ruin the game. Yeah, sadly we almost got through 80 minutes without a yellow card. Now we're probably going to see another one throughout the later stages as well. But Argentina going for the quick tap. They don't even have time to take this kick if they do manage to score. They have to score it, say that they don't want to take the kick, and go back to halfway to try and close out this game. And now back across Moyano. Going now, England have to defend for 40 seconds. If they can do that, they win this game. Now, running it forward. Matthias Maroni, Ben Earl, looking for the steal and the breakdown. Oh, no advantage there. Now, Joaquin Oviedo. In fact, this time it is going to be once again Justo Picaro. Now back across, Argentina have 25 seconds to try and score once and have another restart. Moyano using the back line. Passed across, they do score it. Rodrigo Isgro, they have 17 seconds. He says, give me the ball. I don't think they've got enough time to take a kick at the post unless they do a drop kick with about 3 seconds remaining on the clock. Santiago Carreras lines it up. Drop kick. He's got it over, and 1 second remaining on the clock. Argentina still have a chance to have one last kickoff here. But that is a well-worked try for Argentina, leaving it to the final second almost of this game. And they managed to just get it over in time. Santiago Carreras, he actually ended up in a little bit of a predicament because his teammates were retreating, and a couple of them ran in front of him. This is beautiful, says Savo, and what a great game. Says Wilson, you've definitely been close, if not the game of the weekend, across all of the international games that we have witnessed. But it's kicked off long. Argentina in possession inside of their own 22. Big chopping tackle by Finn Baxter. Now the Argentines have to go 80 metres to go on to win this game. Now they wouldn't have to convert though. All they would need is the try. Being told to use it, Pablo Matera. You just get that feeling if Argentina have their way, they will keep this ball for another 3 or 4 minutes if they have to. A pass across again, just out from their own goal line. Tom Curry almost turned it into a rolling maul. Come on, lads, end the match, says Wilson. Now, ball's still on the side of the Argentines. They're up to 5 phases inside of their own half, tackle by Ben Earl. Almost a knock-on the ground from Moyano. Inside ball from Carreras to Oviedo. Ball still there. The crowd are singing for the English. Not quite able to offload it there for Santiago Carreras. Now Pablo Matera. Big collision for him and Tom Curry. Great game. Says Rudolph. Yeah, going right down to the wire. We've got to remember, England were 17-0 up in this game. Now sitting with the 4 points difference, 11 phases into Argentina's last big chance, but Ben Earl tried to get the turnover, couldn't do it. Running through, Rodrigo is great low tackle made by Henry Slade. Was that a penalty advantage? No, referee said the ball went backwards. Batista Del Gui wrestled down again. Hasn't had a huge amount of touches throughout the game, but if he can score a try at the last moment, that would be one of the most substantial for him throughout this contest. We're up to 82 and a half minutes through this matchup. Santiago Carreras cuts through the English defence, passes it across. He may have had the pace to go himself, but he passes to his teammate and they are dragged down 35 metres out from the line. Henry Pollock looking for the steal, can't get it. Argentina now on the right end of the field. They're going right hand side. Big collision for Thomas Rapetti. But this Argentine team, they are 18 phases in and they are not giving up. Wide cut out pass. It's ruled as backwards. Rodrigo Isgro bumping off a couple challenges. Can't quite get his offload away. Moyano going right hand side here again for the Argentines. Inacio Ruiz made his way onto the field for Julio Montoya, who I am sure on the sidelines is hoping for a side penalty advantage. Henry Pollock leaves his feet. Short pop pass to Pedro Rubiolo. Argentina now in the box seat. Drop kick. Drop kick wouldn't be enough. They need 4 points. They need the try. Now the run forward from Picardo. Almost cutting through. Now back off to the right-hand side. Moyano, 5 metres out from the try line. Here for the Argentines, right in the middle of the field. The turnover was won by England, but they'll go back for that initial penalty where Argentina will have the option of kicking this one for the corner. They will have the option to take the quick tap, but either way, they cannot go for the 3 points as they would then lose this game by 1. But what an epic game of rugby we have had so far between these two sides, ladies and gents. And it is not done yet. 84 minutes through this contest. And Pumas the best, says John Mills. And maybe a chance, says Cooper there. Yeah, for Argentina, they have to get their line out right. England have already been penalised for dragging down a line out. So in this scenario, they have to make a decision. Do you contest this line out? I think you have to. I know that it's a bit of a risk because then you don't have anyone set as efficiently for that rolling maul. But Argentina, they have a chance of not throwing this one straight because of the fact that they will be so concentrated on trying to get that maul set that they may forget to just throw that one in for Inacio Ruiz. So I think you have to throw at least one person up in the air if you're England, just to try and test it out and see if you can force the error. Going up for it, loose ball, picked up by the English, and now inside of their 22, the ball is claimed, and you can see the frustration for Argentina. The ball kicked into touch by Alex Mitchell, and that will be the end of this matchup. The English, they threw someone up, they went early, they put pressure on the Pumas line out. I kind of want to see it again, to be fair, because it may have been, no, I don't want to say what it may have been. It may have been playing the arm of the Argentine player, but that is neither here nor there, but that is the end of the contest. 27 points to 23. The win for the English, but boy, have they been pushed in this contest. Well done, England. Pollock, Northern Hemisphere. And so close, says Sakabula. And also we've got there, should have gone tap and gone with the ball. Bad decision for the line out, says Sonny. Definitely when the line out hasn't been the absolute most accurate part of their game today. The Pumas, well done, England. And always ready to get hurt again, says Sash there. And also we have got there English hater gone quiet, says Freddie. But yeah, at the moment, in terms of that line-out accuracy throughout the game, they won 82%, so the line-out wasn't the worst option there, but England were always going to try and put that little bit of extra pressure on. And look at Pollock going on, says Sakabula. And also, well done, England, super lucky. And what a game, well done, Pumas. They really came to the party in this game, says Jan. Yeah, they wanted it in the later stages of the contest. And what an incredible finish to the rugby weekend and also to the November internationals. We've been waiting for a game here over this weekend that has just, got everyone on the edge of their seats, and I feel like we've found it in this match. And we have got England to the NFL, says Carlos, and where does that put England in the world rankings? They actually don't gain a huge amount from this game, about 0.4, I believe, is on offer for the English from this contest, or in fact it's 0.32, which does mean, they get a little bit of a boost, but they don't move anywhere, and they also can't go anywhere here. They are third England for that World Cup draw. Ireland will be fourth. France will be fifth. Argentina will be sixth. South Africa will stay number one, even if they were to lose to Wales, and New Zealand will be number two. We have got there, thanks. Some of you guys have a super evening and day ahead. Was fun. And also we have got there, Hamish, tell us what may have been. Did England cheat again? No, I don't think so. I was just checking in that last line out. I felt like maybe... See, I don't even like saying it because it sounds like I'm saying that is why Argentina get it right. It wasn't the straightest line out anyway, though. So the thing is, it was probably going to be ruled as not straight had it not been contested as heavily as it was by the English. But yeah, it did look like Yule ended up not quite getting the jump that he wanted, and he slightly played at the Argentine arm. But, it's one of those ones that you could look at it and find 50 things in a game that could have been done differently. But I think Argentina, it was a valiant effort for them throughout this match. Don't stress about it, mate, says Sash. And goddamn, Argentina don't know when they're beaten. And also, what is England ranking? They will be third in the overall rankings going into that World Cup draw, which is taking place December 3rd. We are going to be doing it on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. France third, or 3, Ireland, or France, Ireland, England. And also, we've got their third, says Jeff. And also, I think a late hit should be an automatic yellow card, says Kiwi Rob. And also, Wales can beat the Box easy, says John Mills, although it doesn't change anything in the world rankings other than for the Welsh. They will get a nice little boost and there as well. And thanks for the shifts again this weekend, Hamish, and have a great week. See you all next weekend. See Sakabola there. Yeah, that's hugely appreciated, you all being here for this contest. What I will very quickly do is check to see whether or not they have announced the World Rugby Team of the Year, as that is something that was expected to be maybe announced either today or a little bit later on in the week. I don't think they've done it yet. So we'll wait and find out whether or not that will be tonight or whether that will be maybe in the future. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.